The year is 2001. Survivor Series have their 15th anniversary annual Survivor Series, and this is in the midst of the invasion storyline. It's November 18th, 2001. They're in the Greensboro, North Carolina, at Greensboro Coliseum complex, and we're going to talk about this card. We're going to talk about the story where the invasion storyline ends. And this is your retrospect of Survivor Series 2001. I'm one of your hosts, the Great Grand Slam Pooba. This guy right here is Mark Wins. Right here is Jean Baptiste. And I can't point because the way it's angled, I'm going to do my best I can. We have Rich Kings. And oh, thank you for that so much. He was able to do it. Do that one more time. Like, I want to make sure we do it like that. Boom. There we go. But you're messing up, Gene. You got to point this way. Like, do like that.
Well, my screen is that way.
No, you got to do this way. You're doing the wrong way, brother. I'm telling you right now.
On my screen, he's this way. If I do this way, it's nothing but air.
No, you're doing the right thing. Look right there. Now, Mark, point down.
No. He's this way. I don't think you understand.
He's not understanding. He's not understanding how this works.
This way.
No, you can't. You don't understand how it looks on my end. That's what I'm trying to explain it. But regardless, nonetheless, we're your crew to review Survivor Series 2001. I'm the lead here, but nonetheless, gentlemen, how are you guys?
It's another great night for reviewing classic WWE. Back when having a title meant something, not just having a bunch of Motor City Machine Bums coming along and taking that. Where if you were a champion, it meant something, and you had decent promos, not promos of you coming out talking about I respect you, I love you, I need you. Nah, this was a great time for wrestling. I can't wait to get into this card.
Mark Wins, what did you think about this pay-per-view?
9.5 out of 10. It was amazing. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
I'm sorry, Rich.
I have one I have one complaint. And I feel like I guess I have all right, 9.2. I have 2 complaints. 3 complaints. 9 out of 10. But no, it was I loved it. We'll get into it, but I'll save my complete thoughts for the end because I really enjoyed the Survivor Series.
Rich Kings, please take the floor. What did you think about this pay-per-view? I feel like we both watched this back in the day, and you're watching it back after, 20-something years. What did you think about this pay-per-view? Quick sum up of what you thought about this pay-per-view.
It was interesting. It was fun. It was a lot of drama, which is good for wrestling. So I can't wait to get into it and review it with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be the guy. I mean, obviously there was I was saying before we did the show, like there was a lot of missing players on it, but they did what they could, with the players that they got here. And I'll save one of my critiques at the end here. But let's talk about this show. There was a heat match that didn't air here. You would just have to remember it. But I just wanted to scan through some of the matches in case we might have missed something and whatnot. But this was a match that was on Heat to start off the pay-per-view. If you remember what Heat is, you're in our age bracket. If you don't, 6'7". We had a match on Heat. It was Lance Storm. I'm so mad I don't got this. I think it was Justin Incredible, Raven, and Lance Storm. I screenshot this terribly wrong. It was and we had against Albert, Sky Too Hottie, and Spike Dudley. It was a 6-man tag. This match went 5 minutes and 20 seconds. And the Alliance win here. So it's supposed to, as you go into go into Survivor Series, it's like, oh man, the Alliance is already winning. This is looking bad for WWF. It's supposed to add that drama, like the possibility of the Alliance is going to go over here. But
Heat was just a way to bump up the pay-per-view so that if you saw what was going on Heat, since it was live from the show, it's like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll watch this pay-per-view. Here's $60 of my money.
It definitely, but it was a lot. It wasn't $60. I forget what the exact price, but it was under 60. It might be it might be 60 now. I haven't bought a pay-per-view in many, many years, so it might be. But
it was like $49.99 or like $59.99, one or the other.
I was going to say here
$49.99.
I was going to sit here and say that, but I was going to agree with what you were saying because I 100% agree. It was like a last minute to make you go like, "Oh, I need to buy this pay-per-view." If you was on the edge of if you wanted to order the pay-per-view, I don't think this match would have been the thing to make me want to buy the pay-per-view, but they tried. I mean, this was on MTV at the time, and WWF was still partially hot at that time. And this was a way to just sit here and make you go like, "Oh man, I need to buy this." But I can't really talk about this as much because I didn't watch. I mean, I watched the match years ago, but if you're talking about recently, I have not seen that match in years, so I can't even tell you what that match looked like. But we could talk about what the opening match was. We had Christian representing the Alliance. He won the WWF European Championship on a house show, and I want to say it was Bradshaw because Bradshaw, the last time I remember, Bradshaw beat Shane Helms of the Hurricane for the European Championship. And I guess Christian beat him in a house show, which I kind of like stuff like that. Because it just lets you know that things can happen on a house show. You know, I think a lot of times with people, when they go to a house show, they already expect it to be like, they kind of consider it like no canon, right? So they were like, oh, well, this person's going to retain the championship. I've been to a few house shows, right? Or maybe, and I can count on my hands, not a lot, but I've been to a house show or so. And I remember one of the house shows I went to, I want to give a shout out to my father. It was the week after Royal Rumble, 2001. And Chris Jericho going against Kurt Angle. And as I'm a fan, I'm just a fan. I don't, it's real to me, damn it. But now if I go to a house show, I'm like, yeah, no, Kurt Angle's going to go over. But at that time, I was rooting for Jericho. So I say all to simply say is that when a title change happened on a house show, I think that's really, really cool. And he went against Al Snow. One of the things I did not like about this, just rewatch, right? I'm watching this on Peacock. And I'm like, wow, they're redubbing a lot of songs here.
I thought I was going crazy. There's at least one segment where I'm like, this sounds terribly generic.
And it's wild to me when they do like these redubs. I was telling Jean Baptiste earlier, I thought it was wild that so the actual theme song for 2001 Survivor Series was Puddle Mud Control. And I always remember that, but I had to Google it just to be sure because I was like, yo, I remember this being the song, but I need to be sure about this. And so when Al Snow came out, and I don't think it was his Was Everybody Wants song, right? Sorry, hiccups. I don't think it was that. I think he had some kind of like tough enough version of his song or something like that. That's what I'm assuming. I'm not sure. I just can't confirm it. I'm just not sure. But I just thought like, wow, what is this music? And it just threw me off. And like, honestly, for me, wrestling music is everything. Like a lot of my tracks on my phone is wrestling tracks. So wrestling music mattered to me. So hearing this, I was just like, what are we even chatting about?
Well, the music is all a part of the presentation, and the music kind of made the wrestler. Like if they have really good music, some decent pyro, and a good background, like the presentation was perfectly fine. And shout out to Jim Henson, who used to produce a lot of WWE tracks. Or I think it was Jim Johnson, and I'm confusing that with the puppet guy. My bad. But anyway, shout out to them both. But yeah, no, definitely a lot of theme musics were changed. I hated it. I didn't care for it, and I'm wondering why Puddle of Mud got taken off and not Limp Bizkit's garbage ass. But you know what? It's okay. We're good.
That's probably just straight copyright, honestly. If you don't got the rights, you don't got.
I'm sorry. Wait. No, finish it though. I'm so sorry. My apologies.
Yeah,
no, because
if they ain't got the copyright for it, you can't play it unless you want to get sued and or settle out of court. As opposed to this is in the contract, you got the royalties for it. Because well, no, I can't speak on it. I'm not going to pretend that I know who got what copyright. But like, if you ain't got the copyright it, it's going to be a bigger case than it needs to be. So I'm gonna just replace it with generic music. But if I got the copyright, I'm gonna play the song that I got the copyright for, and then send you your little royalty check because 4 people viewed it for this review. You know what I mean?
I was gonna simply say I thought it had something to do with pay because one of the things that caught my attention was that Puddle of Mud. The Puddle of Mud theme was the theme for Survivor Series 2001, but they played Edge's Rob Zombie. Never Gonna Stop, And I just thought that was so interesting. And I remember talking to Jean Baptiste a little bit earlier before Showtime, and I remember just saying like, I found that weird. And I said maybe it has something to do with maybe, maybe like the pricing. And I don't know for sure because I don't really understand the whole copyright thing completely. To be totally honest with you, I just
The
thought it
licensing
was
might have not been for WWE. The licensing, like when it comes to Rob Zombie, and even Metalingus, the licensing for the song might just go to Edge and not the company as a whole. Because if you notice, Edge took Metalingus with him to AEW. He can take it wherever the hell he wants because he might have like some type of personal licensing deal with Metalingus, just like he had with Rob Zombie back in the day.
I don't know about Rob Zombie so much because I feel like there was a time where I would listen to some and they dubbed over him too. So I don't know. Like, I don't want to pretend like I know anything. I don't
It
know
might
this stuff.
literally depend on each and every song, depending on how it was contracted at the time. That
Sure.
It could be that simple, or it could be as complicated as WWE has the rights, but Peacock don't got the rights, and then they can't really put it on Peacock because if they put it on Peacock, Peacock might get sued. So it could be as simple as we ain't got the rights, or it could be as complicated as this particular thing doesn't have the rights. So because this particular thing doesn't have the rights, we just got to wipe it for that entire platform.
I like.
It
Okay,
could even
that's a fair
just be
point.
based on time too. It could just be the timing. Like, yeah, Survivor Series was what 24 years ago. So maybe the song got to be over 20 years old before they can play it without being sued. Who knows?
Don't know. And I mean, if you are in the chat and you know, because I'll be honest, I don't have no answer and I don't speculate or anything, please let us know and write in the chat. But we have Christian going against Al Snow. It was for the WWF European Championship. Al Snow, who's a former European champion himself. I saw this there's a page that I follow on IG, and it was so funny because they were showing this. There was a time where Al Snow was the European champion, and he would represent each country in Europe each week. And there was a week where William Regal was there, and he was on commentary. It was on this episode of SmackDown, and he just goes like, "William Al Snow represents. Where's Count Chocula from? Like Transylvania or something like that?" And William Regal said, "That's not real." He was so offended. He said the specimen. I think he called him a specimen of idiot or something like that. It was a name that he called him, and it was so funny. Like I love William Regal so much, and we're going to talk about him a little bit later. But this match, I just want to write down real quick. It goes 6 minutes and 30 seconds, but I do have notes. I just wanted to make sure I had the time and everything about this match. And I don't have a whole lot of notes here, but I'm watching this match. I was like, that's Teddy Long.
Yeah,
Teddy Long was the ref. I was like, that's freaking. And I knew, as time goes on and you just get into this wrestling bubble and everything like that, like prior jobs and stuff, like he was a ref and all that stuff. But I was like, that's Teddy freaking Long. And poor Teddy Long at this time must have hated this because he had the ref for two white boys. Because, 2 years later, he had the white boy challenge and he would have Rodney Mack beat up anybody who was white. That was his whole thing.
Shout out to Teddy Long. Shout out to Teddy Long.
I'll give you the floor here first that you're talking here. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot about this match. I mean, Christian goes over, he beats Al Snow. He tries to get some heel heat and he talks trash about. So this is North Carolina, but he called it South Carolina, which is instant heat because I can imagine North Carolina and South Carolina. I'm a North Carolinian myself, personally. I'm a Canadian North Carolinian, and I would be highly offended by this. But I'll give you the floor here first, Jean Baptiste. What did you think about this match?
Exactly. Where were you born?
Mark Wynn, speak for me, please. He's my lawyer.
Because last I checked, North Carolina does not border Canada. Like, how did that work?
It depends on the timeline. But yeah, go on with your synopsis of the match.
Thanks, lawyer.
Squash. It was one big. Wait, what timeline? What, we're in the Quantumverse? Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I felt like that match was just one big squash. I never saw Al Snow going over. Like, I mean, at the time, yes, he was right. What does everybody want? Head. Yeah, we definitely didn't. Well, I was too young to understand that concept, but hey, it is what it is. Christian, I don't really got much to say about it. I didn't really care for that match. I ain't gonna lie to you. Did not care.
Rich King,
Did
take
not
the
care
floor.
for the Godfather.
I think it's the match itself was a okay opener for the match, for the night. I did like the Paul Heyman and JR. Like you saw that beginning dynamic of them talking their shit on the mic. That was just for me. That was the highlight of the match. It's hearing some of their quotes and what they were saying about the match, and like for you, like hearing that tough enough thing it kind of like, whoa, this was not what Al Snow came out to. So I was a little bit lost in the beginning of the match. But like it was a solid match. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. It wasn't like match of the night quality, but it was good enough to like let's get some people out there. If you're late, you didn't miss much, and let's keep it moving. But I was always a big fan of Christian's Unprettier, so I do love the Unprettier finishing move. So I was excited to see that get hit. And then that was the match, It was like what was 6 minutes of that? So
yeah, it was I'm sorry, I'll give you the exact time here. It was 6 minutes and 30 seconds. It wasn't a long match.
It didn't feel like it was like longer than the other matches, and it didn't need to be, honestly. Listen, that's a little entry. Let's start us off. Let's get a tally. Let's keep it moving. So I did appreciate also how Christian came into the ring about, he's never a fan of America anyway, right? He's always different America. So I love that.
Me either.
Un-American.
I'm Canadian, so I'm totally not a fan of this. But Mark Owens, what did you think about this?
But he's in North Carolina.
Once again, the timelines. We'll get to the timelines much later in the whatchamacallit, because there's something JR said, and I'm sure it went over everybody's heads, but sure. I caught it. But we'll get to it when he said it.
Okay, cool.
It was a fairly quick match. It was a solid match. It was, in and out. There was something, I don't remember exactly what Snow did, but Al Snow did something, and it was just poor in-ring awareness. And as I'm looking, I was like, yeah, you deserve this, Al. But apparently he was not supposed to win to begin with. I don't remember what it was. Like, I don't know if he I remember what it was. He hit some type of slam, and he goes for the pin, and Christian is literally like, if this is the rope, Christian's already
by
here.
the rope.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, you got to pull him away from the rope or something. But like, I get it. He wasn't even meant to win it, But I was looking at this poor in-ring awareness. And then he had the nerve to be like, yeah, I won. Like, what are you talking about? Like, unbelievable.
You know what I think it was? I think he hit his finisher. It was like a brain buster. He calls it the snowplow. And I think that's what happened. So I get what you're saying, where it's like, how do you hit your finisher and don't even pull this guy? I get it. I totally understand 100%.
Yeah, but
what was the name of his finishing move?
Snowplow. Yeah. Snowplow. It makes sense though. Al Snow, Snowplow. I think I think it's a dope name, honestly.
No, I was surprised. I didn't know that was the name of his finisher.
What did you think? Wow. I'm scared to ask, but what did you think the name of his finisher was, sir?
Head.
I would agree. If this was a multiple choice question, and I'm choosing head. You're asking everybody what they want.
No. It's fine. Give me a minute. Give me 1 minute. It's okay.
Oh man, that's wonderful.
You know what? I can't get mad at you guys, but I am.
But yeah, overall, solid match. Like Rich King said, it got the party started. It's not much consequence either way, whether you see it or not. It's a nice little opener. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, I think you had to start off this way. I mean, like, it would have been cool if there was something a little bit like, so something WCW would do, right? And I know that we're talking about WWF here, but WCW would open up with the cruiserweights, and that's a great way to start off because it's high pace, fast action. I mean, we have the cruiserweight champion in here, but he's not defending the cruiserweight championship, and God knows where X-Pac was at this time. But
disappeared.
They had to find something to be different, and like Christian. And I just want to say real quick because I feel remiss if I didn't say this because as we were talking, Rich Kings talked, and I remember for a long time, Rich Kings was a fan of Christian's finisher, the Imprinter, which is a beautiful move, by the way. It's a really, really good move. Christian has had some dope themes and this is one of them. Christian, Christian, at last you're on your own. This theme is. I love this theme, and I feel like if I didn't talk about this, I would kick myself. I would kick my knee out of my knee. I need to talk about this theme. This theme is great. This is the theme after he separated from. I remember the first time when he separated from Edge, right? And I heard that theme. I said, and he had a match against Billy Gunn. I said, "Oh, Billy Gunn, you about to get your ass kicked?" Because I said, "You can't lose with this kind of theme. At this rate, you should fight Galactus." I just wanted to throw that out there. That I think this theme is fantastic. You know, I do like. You'll see if you close your eyes. The one in 2005. I like that one. I didn't like I always called this one the Britney Spears version. The one that would have had the Backstreet Boys. The one in 09 when he returned. I wasn't much of a fan. And I do like his TNA theme. But I want to give a shout out to one Gene Baptiste.
Sorry.
No, please go ahead. Sorry,
I was gonna say I prefer, because I heard both themes. I prefer the one that he had with the quote unquote Backstreet Boys. I felt like it had more passion in it, whereas it felt like Britney was just kind of sort of dialing it in.
Well, no, you know what's funny? I feel like I remember you telling me this before, like, because I feel like you've heard me before say the Britney Spears Backstreet Boys version, and I've always felt like you've always said the Backstreet Boys. Now, Rich Kings, I don't. Do you know the two versions we're talking about? Because if not, I will send it to you, and we'll like to hear your opinion about it on the next review show. But do you know that Christian had two versions of You'll See If You Close Your Eyes? Do you know those two versions?
There was one before he went to TNA, and then the one he got after he came back.
I know you know, but I want to make sure of Rich Kings. I want to make sure he was. I want to include him part of it.
Because I hated both of those. I just hated that. I'm a Christian fan after the haircut. It just looked like a dick.
Oh, you mean
that was the point?
that Rick Ross haircut? My man paid how much money for that damn haircut? Like what?
He looked like a dick. Exactly.
You paid to look like a dick is crazy.
No, but that was his whole point. Listen, when he cut his hair, right? It was in 2003. And I'll never forget, because he had his whole "I'm a dick" attitude, right? But I'll never forget this, because I remember I said, I feel like the barber beat you on this one. But I'll never forget, he said, everyone's talking about my $600 haircut. I said, oh, it sounded like the barber went over. Never forgot that. I remember I heard that even as a kid. I said, no, you lost. You literally gave you a seasoned L. It had some salt, some garlic, some onion. Paprika! Paprika! What else are we missing? Salt, pepper. Like, you know what I'm talking about? That L was seasoned as hell. But let's go into the next.
Ketchup onion.
My man got the whole condiment. Oh, damn.
You got the whole condiment. Let's talk about the next match. This match didn't even go long here, but I do want to talk about. There was a segment here. I'm gonna try to include some of the segments here. But after the opener, Stone Cold entered the Alliance locker room and is questioned, and there's some comedy happened because Austin at this point was just comedy. He was just a funny dude. He's very, very funny. But Vince and Linda, it's crazy here, right? So. You mentioned this at Gene Baptiste that this event happened 24 years ago, right? And it's crazy because like you see some of the same players, right? Some of them are no longer, and when I say no longer here, meaning like they're not active and stuff. But we have Michael Cole here, and you see a young Michael Cole, and like it just makes me go like, man, I've been watching wrestling for a long time. I forget his age. I think he's like in his late 50s. I don't think he's in his 60s. I think he's late 50s.
No, he's definitely in his 60s.
Is he? Like, I want to quick, if someone could just do a official Google just to be sure, because I think he's just like.
I think he's got a few more years left. I think he's at 65. He's done. He only got a few more years left. He's 56.
He's 56.
Yeah, I thought he was in his 50s. I'm glad. Thank God for research. Because Jesus Christ. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Rich Kings. Gene Baptiste, when we come, let me just at least ask the question first before you say anything. But Rich Kings, please take the floor. You wanted to say something. Look at Gene Baptiste. He's in there saying, like, no, you lied to me, Google. No, he didn't. But Rich Kings, please take the floor.
I was just about to agree with Mark because I remember him a few months ago coming on the Pat McAfee show saying, like, he's going through this for a longer time. He doesn't want to hang it up anytime soon at all.
Oh, you say he don't want to hang it up anytime soon. Let me ask you guys, like, do you think, and I mean, Mark, if you have any answer, please take the floor. So we said, what's the actual age? He's 56, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we think he can go until like his 60s? Like, are we looking
I
at?
mean, as long as he don't do any of those things where he jump into the ring for like extended
Okay,
extended storylines, yeah, I don't
okay,
see why he
Rest in peace,
can't
he should.
go on for as long as he's healthy. Because
okay, that's
I
fair.
feel like, at least with the big WWE names, I guess other than Taz does whatever the hell he wants. But like, it's always health with them. Like, I feel like it's always health that like kind of sort of takes them out. If I'm wrong here, let me know. But so as long as
When
Michael
you said that
Cole,
commentator, I'm sorry, you meant as a commentator, correct?
yeah,
Okay.
It's always going to be health reasons because remember Jr. I think he just beat cancer not that
right,
long ago. So
yeah,
it's as long as Cole is healthy and God
yeah,
forbid any of that nothing ever strikes him, knock on wood, he should be fine.
yeah. He can commentate for
Yeah.
as long
No,
as he feel like commentating. And I guess at some point I got to sit there and say he is a pretty good commentator. I know, like, you know, we looking we judge it on the bar of, you know, JR and
JR.
King, but he ain't
Unhinged Michael
been
Cole is
doing it
good.
this long for no reason.
Well, this is this.
Unhinged Michael Cole is amazing. Unhinged, unshackled Michael Cole, definitely up there with Jim Ross.
Well,
Wait, what?
I believe this. Well, how many WrestleManias has JR done?
I don't have an exact
I have
number,
no
but
idea.
he's done a lot.
I have no idea. He's done a lot though.
Michael
He's
Cole
done a lot.
that benchmark. So if you're doing the main event longer than someone, and you're in the business longer than someone at that high of a level, why is JR still the benchmark? I think he surpassed the benchmark. He's the benchmark.
I would agree. I would agree.
You know,
wait,
that's
time out. Hold on a second.
Mhm.
You're not wrong. However,
okay.
with bias, complete bias, straight up subjectivity, for me, JR and King is the benchmark. For me. Rich King, if you sat there and said he got more WrestleManias, more main events, he's been doing it longer, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I remember the Miz. Was it the Miz? It was somebody was that, and it was, and mind you, it was a couple of years ago. So it's over 25. He was like 25 years, and he only missed 2 days. So yeah, he gets credit for that, and all the power to him. And I can I 100% understand the argument that, you know, someone could say that he is the benchmark, that he is better than JR and King. Gotcha. He's just not for me.
For
like
you.
I said, yeah.
For you.
But
and that's totally fair. I wanted to answer this question for Rich King and whatnot. So Michael Cole, when you talk about commentary and stuff like that, I think it's the longevity of Michael JR. I think it's also the many different companies that JR has been in, and I don't know if that means anything to anybody, but like I like stuff like that when I hear someone was from the, like I love that, and I'm not trying to change the subject here, but like Chris Jericho, he's one of my faves because he was in, I didn't watch ECW, I'm not going to pretend, but WCW, WWE, he did stuff in New Japan, and he did all these other companies and all these other different things. I love stuff like that, but I think that's the thing with JR, where he's doing WCW, he's doing WWE, and now he's in, I mean, I think they every now and then throw him put him out there for AEW, but just the longevity and the many different companies that he's been in. But
I don't think it comes down to that. I think it just comes down to the talent because, like, all right, you say Chris Jericho, I could counter you that and say Roman Reigns. Man's only been WWE, but literally is the last great megastar we actually have of this generation. Like, this man for 5 years set records that haven't been seen in a long time. Like, this man was a needle mover, and he wasn't all over the world like Chris Jericho was.
Oh no, and that's true. And that's true, because even when you say that, I'll sit here and say, everyone would say Shawn Michaels is the GOAT, and there's nothing wrong with that. I said for me, that for Jericho, for me, that's the thing, because that can't be changed. But like, if you're talking to Jericho, because Roman Reigns is on my Mount Rushmore of greats, and I totally 100% agree. And it was actually, it was more like 3.5 years, not 5, because he dropped the title in 2004. So it wasn't 5.
I'm not saying even just the championship, just the last 5 years of Roman have been stellar. Oh, I can't even say the last 5. I'd say up until WrestleMania 40 when he dropped the belt. Like when he returned.
So no, it was 2020. Oh, you're talking about what? I'm sorry. Which return? Because he had many returns. I'm sorry. I had to be sure.
I guess the return after Canton. I would say the return
That was
after
20.
COVID.
That was 2020. That was 2020.
Yeah,
I
after
just want to be
after
sure.
COVID and the whole tribal chief era started. Like that man was a megastar. That's the last megastar we got.
I think we'll have another one.
Michael Cole. I hear what you're saying, him being in all these different companies, right?
Yes,
but
sir.
Do we know that work of that company? How can we speak to that work without listening?
Well, I can't. So to be fair, we're talking about us, but there are people who do know about his stuff in WCW and stuff like that. I mean, we don't, and that's fair. But
us to say that this is something that we got to give him credit for this, right? That means you can hear it. It's almost like the sports analogy, right? I haven't seen Babe Ruth, but I've seen Shohei Ohtani play, so I can say this is.
Well, Gene Baptiste seen Babe Ruth. Well, let's ask him.
Yeah. But my only thing with JR, I say the only thing I was
an age joke
would be when Michael Cole he has worked with almost everybody. Where JR has to go with King. JR and Paul Heyman is gold, but it's still not. It's liquid gold. It's not the same. It's not solid. So
is that good? I'm sorry. I wanted to say, was that good? But JR also worked with someone called Gordon, and I guess, like you said, we have to hear it. So forgive me for mentioning all these other things where I'm just trying to add context here in this conversation. So, like, I mean, look, I have nothing against Michael Cole. I think Michael Cole deserves his flowers. I'm hoping that that's not coming off like that kind of way. I was just trying to give some substance here about why JR might be considered the GOAT. And look, Michael Cole has worked with a lot of people, but same thing with JR. I mean, he's worked with that. And is it the same? No, but everyone Michael Cole has ever worked with wasn't always like the best. Like there was a guy, I forget who he worked with, and I was just like, oh, okay, like that's nice. And Michael Cole worked his ass off. But like everyone, I just don't think you can work with everyone and make gold is what I'm trying to get at. That's my counter for this conversation.
That's fair. I think I hear Michael Cole, I hear him like all these different people that sound consistent through, and he's a consistent.
Did you like him? I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. Did you like him with Taz?
Yeah, it was great. Taz as his own.
He made Taz.
Taz is like
as a commentator. Did he? Okay, sorry to cut everybody off. Did Michael Cole not make Taz as a commentator?
I think he made him comfortable. That's fair. I mean, I think he made him because Taz. Real quick, if I could just throw this out here real quick. So one of the stories here, and we're talking about Survivor Series. I promise you guys. The Thursday before this Survivor Series, I remember Paul Heyman said, "And Taz, he's a commentator, a fat one, and not even a good one." And meanwhile, so I just wanted to say that as you sit here and say, did he make? I do sit here and say, I think you're on to something there. Yeah, I do want to say that. I'm sorry, but Rich King. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know who's taking the floor, but whoever had the floor, please take it.
I'll just make this one last point. I just think that he just elevated him. I think that he is such he's so good at his craft that you can put almost anybody with him. And I think that's what they've done over the years, right? And
that's fair.
He's telling the story. JR, there's a lot of complaining in the match.
You're terrible.
Especially when it came to Triple H.
Wait, was he? Well, yeah, she's right. He hated Triple H. Yeah, what is do you remember a call where he was complaining, Rich Kings? I'm sorry, just for entertainment values. What do you have?
Remember your guy Jericho when he beat The Rock and exposed turnbuckle. Three stunners and this and that.
Yeah. You know what? I'm sorry. You know what? Yeah. Michael Cole. Michael Cole's the GOAT. Yeah, JR. You know what? Hold on. Give me a second. Where's my pen? I can't even find it. Hold on. Here we go.
There we go.
But let's talk about this match real quick. It wasn't even a long match, so like, if you guys have any thoughts about it, but William Regal, he goes against Tajiri. I'm going to start with you, Mark Wins, but he battles the Cruiserweight Champion. Obviously, he can't go for the Cruiserweight Championship for obvious reasons. But also in this one, William Regal's theme was dope because I remember it being a dun, dun, dun. You remember? Rich Kings remember? Oh my god! Like I remember, I'm sorry, like the dub just I'm sorry, I just did not like the dub. That might be the theme for these.
It is when you watch the Titantron and it's not matching the beat at all. It's like,
thank you. Like it actually bothered me when I heard it because once again, wrestling the theme and like every wrestler don't have a pyro. That don't do it for me. There's people who have overdone it with the pyro, but the music is like important to me. So like when I was hearing this, I was just like, nah, I don't remember this being his theme. But William Regal and Jerry, they had a bit of a feud. William Regal was the one who bought into Jerry. When William Regal was the WWF commissioner, to Jerry was like his right hand man. I want to say it was like May or June of that year he bought him in. I forget exactly, but it was around that spring, summertime.
It was May because I think June was Invasion.
No, July was Invasion. June was King of the Ring. Correction. But Regal, they have a match, and Regal, for whatever reason, he has a little bit of blood in his nose. They mentioned to Jerry had a degree in economics. I think that was pretty cool. Like that was just I like randomly mentioned that too. I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Heyman says Regal has a degree in survival. I'm sorry. Heyman was so great at this. Like, if you said because we were talking about commentators and stuff like that. If you said JR and King was cool, that's fine. But JR and Heyman was just unhinged, and I loved it so much. But he beats him in a pretty quick match. Regal hits him with the Regal bomb. Tori Wilson oh my God, Tori Wilson. That was one of my first crushes. I love Tori Wilson. I always imagined that we would get married on Billy Kidman's nose. So she comes out to Billy Kidman. He was one of my favorite cruiserweights, by the way. But when I saw him with Tori Wilson, I said, he's my ops immediately. And I used that word in 1999. I created the word ops. But she comes out because, to Jerry is wink. To Jerry she comes out to help her boyfriend. To Jerry became my ops too. I was like, why are y'all taking my girl? But she comes out there to check on to Jerry, and William Regal hit her with a Regal bomb too. William Regal was just a piece of trash, but like I loved William Regal. William Regal was such a great heel, and I was thinking about it earlier today, where I was just like, I felt like he was. And I guess when you say total package, you think about the look, right? I can't say William Regal had the look, but he could talk, and he was a really great in-ring worker. And he's somebody that if you wanted to learn in-ring psychology, like one of my favorites of all time is Bret the Hitman Hart. And I'm not ashamed to say that, but I think William Regal is someone you should study too if you wanted to learn some grittiness in the ring. And William Regal was really good in this. But this match was quick. It was nothing really to go crazy about. But Mark Wins, I'm going to give you the floor here first. What did you think about this match?
This was the most disappointing match of the night. So I'm watching the match, and I feel like Regal got busted open in 5 seconds, and then 10 seconds later, the match was over. And like, I'm a little bit familiar with Jerry's game, and I'm a little bit familiar with Regal's game, and I'm seeing them in the ring, and I'm getting excited. I'm like, oh snap, this match is about to go crazy. And then it ends. And I'm like, and I get it in the grand scheme of things, I get it. But this match disappointed me because I came in with no expectations. And then I saw them wrestle for like 2 seconds, and I was like, oh snap, they're trying to steal the show. And then before they could even get to steal the show's over and the match is done. This is one of those things that brought it down. This is one of the disappointments of the night for me personally, because I didn't, like I said, didn't come in with expectations, saw what was going on. I was like, oh snap, this match about to be fire, and then it wasn't, because we got to move the show on, we got a storyline to get over. Understandable, like I said, completely understandable, but I hated it.
Rich Kings, take the floor, and then Jean Baptiste, please take after Rich Kings talks.
I hear what you're saying. The reason why I didn't hate it is because it kind of fed off of the segment that the Great was saying earlier, right? So, you see Vince and Linda back there talking, and here goes William Regal like, I'm about to wreck this career. It's going to be over for WWF. And he goes over there and he takes care of business in reasonable fashion against the Jerry, right? So then I was like, when he won, it made sense. And then I love the heel tactics of giving up that power bomb, whatever that power bomb is, to multiple times.
Yeah, it's the Regal bomb. I'm sorry, I just wanted to correct you.
Regal bomb. It's amazing. But he's something else. And he's just like the quintessential mid card heel that you need in every company, right? And he just played that role to a T, and it was successfully executed at the highest probabilities at this match. So I think I hear what you're saying. The match itself wasn't that great, and remember, he's the power to punch guy. He's different. He's just a different type of guy. So it made sense, and it made sense going over that, and it got me thinking like, what is Tajiri's finisher? Like, I know that he did the
buzzsaw kick. The buzzsaw kick.
Yeah, because he did dodge it technically.
Yeah, so I was like, that's what I was thinking about. Is the tarantula, is that kick, what is the miss? Like, so many different things. I'm like, what was going to work against William Regal in this match?
The mist. The same mist he used to beat Taz at Invasion.
But I don't think it was going to work with William Regal. It's like his mouth was all bloody. He was a vicious man.
It just depended. And that was the thing. Like I can agree to both sentiments. Yes, the match was definitely a little bit disappointing. But yeah, the way Regal won was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. That his heel tactics were amazing. But I think I did expect more out the match because I had watched Invasion by mistake, forgetting that wasn't the Survivor Series of that year. And Tajiri and Taz actually put on a great match. To a point, I think Tajiri went over because of the miss. It was a surprise miss at the very end, but I expected more. But yeah, William Regal's heel tactics did get me hilarious. If I was to rate this match, I would give it a quick 6 out of 10. Only because the time constraints, and it wasn't as I expected more out of it. So I would definitely give it a great 6 out of 10. Maybe even a 7. Just because of the heel tactics and the power bomb to Tori Wilson afterwards. But yeah, I'll definitely give it a 7.
You know, I think it's some fair points on what some of you guys were saying here, because like, you know, I guess you look at the talent in the match and you're just like, man, you expect a little bit more. But I just feel like this was a match that wasn't, and I said this with all the respect in the world, it wasn't that important to be having like, so I just want to make sure I had the time here for this match. So wow, this was under 5 minutes and totally under 3 minutes. But this was a match that didn't need to go like 10 minutes or anything like that. And maybe, and I would sit here and say, as like, maybe if it gave us some time and stuff like that, maybe we could have got something better. Like, it never got out of that first gear, I feel like, is what everyone is saying. And I think that's a totally fair point. But I'm not mad that it didn't go that long. I mean, I think that's why they even point out, like, Jerry, he's the cruiserweight champion. It was a cruiserweight against a, and even then, I mean, a cruiserweight could totally beat a heavyweight. I mean, I've seen it happen. I mean, we've all seen it happen, but I think that's why they.
Rey Mysterio.
Well, Eddie Guerrero wasn't a fraud. You know, he was a great. He's not the Second City fraud. But let's move on to the next match here. We had I want to see if there was another segment here, but not really. So we got Test versus Edge. It was a unification match. It was the Intercontinental Championship and the United States Championship on the line. And this is the part where I just wanted a moment here. I wanted to talk here for a minute.
Shout out to Andrew Martin. Rest in peace, the late great Andrew Martin.
You know, the Intercontinental Championship, that version of the belt was a very, very beautiful title. They've changed it since, but I've always loved that version. But I want to talk about the United States Championship here real quick. To me, right here, I want to put this up here right here real quick. This was peak design. And you know, once WWE had the United States Championship, they have changed it. But I want to talk about the design, the beauty, the poise of this design. I love this design. Here's another picture here, just so you guys could get a look at this championship. Just so freaking beautiful. And, you know, look, they've changed the design since. They have another version of the belt. The current version of the belt is actually pretty nice. I've grown to warm up for it. But this right here, I'm going to say what the cool kids are saying. This is peak. With all that said, we had the United States champion Edge. He won that championship on an episode of Monday Night Raw. He beat Kurt Angle. Tess, he won the Intercontinental Championship from Edge. Edge won that championship at No Mercy. He beat his brother, Christian, the same person that JR earlier in the day said, yeah, I believe Christian is living in his brother's shadow, Edge. And I was like, this is why you get punched in the face, JR. You can't say that. But I say, I to simply say, see, Jean Baptiste gets it. But Tess beat him for the Intercontinental Championship on an episode of Raw. It's funny because they show you, I miss this so much. Like, sometimes WWE do promote those really good hype videos for the match and stuff like that. But back in the day was just fucking gems, bro. Like, I'm watching this and I was like, yo, I really miss when they used to do, like, they put effort into it. So, and I laughed at it too, because when Tess beat Edge for the Intercontinental Championship, he put his foot on the rope. And I said, ref, Tess is like 6'8". How did you not see that? And you know what I said? He's an idiot. Talking about the ref. So we get this match. I do want to say before it that, Edge is getting promo time. He talks about Tess and he says he's got dumped by every girl on the planet, which is terrible to say. Like that would ruin anyone's confidence. Like I felt bad hearing that. He said he got dumped by every girl, and I know we have the same. We both have blonde hair and both have unique first names, and he's gonna beat Tess. But then Tess has a segment here. Tess was so good as a heel, right? Like, I'm not saying, because I feel like when you say that, they're like, oh, so he's your top 5. I'm like, no, but he was a solid heel. He understood his character. He was getting ready for his match, and he tells Janet and says, you got to rub baby oil on this part so the camera can get me very well. And he got that so well. Then he has which is funny because him and Stacy Keibler would end up being paired up together. I want to say in 03. I don't think it was 02, but it was in 03 because that's when she said, hey, they have the Canaanites, they have the Hulkamaniacs, and you have your testicles. This is WWE writing, by the way.
I remember that. Wow.
You remember that, right?
I definitely remember that. Mm-hmm. What the fuck was he thinking?
No, that was writing. That's not Tess. But I was sitting there thinking. Well, can I say it?
Sure.
They're idiots. I don't know what to tell you. 100%. I don't know. I think they tried to do something that was funny, and it got over for a period. But I knew as a fan, you wasn't calling me that. I like Tess, and you mentioned about he's no longer with us, and it's very unfortunate because he passed at such a young age. But as I'm watching this, I sit there and go like, man, he understood his character, and even the part with him and Stacy Keibler, and she rubs her hand on his buttocks, and he says, "Yeah, she wants me." Like he got his character very well. And I thought that these guys, they gave him some time. They went 11 minutes and 19 seconds. Edge went over in this match. And, it makes so much sense. Like when I was watching this in 2001, it was real to me. So, when people talk about booking and this guy go over and that, I didn't understand any of that. I just looked at this as a sport for me. But as I look at this now, I'm like, man, Edge was on fire in 2001. If you guys remember, Edge, he held the championship with Christian. They dropped it. He was in the King of the Ring tournament. He beat Kurt Angle in the finals. At SummerSlam, he beat Lance Storm for the Intercontinental Championship, dropped the Intercontinental Championship. What was that pay-per-view in September? Was it? No, it was No Mercy, right? No, October was No Mercy. September, I forget what it was, but he dropped it in September. And then October. Who?
Was it Bad Blood?
No, it wasn't Bad Blood. Bad Blood didn't come back until 2003. I forget. I think it was Unforgiven. I want to say it was Unforgiven. It was Unforgiven, right?
It was either Unforgiven or Fully Loaded. One of those two. But I think
Fully Loaded used to be in July, and they took it took it off this year for Invasion. So it was Unforgiven. So thank you guys. But he lost to Christian and then won it back in No Mercy. And I mean, my point in saying all this about Edge in 2001 is they put the rocket behind him, and you can see that they wanted him to be
back from injury that year.
No, that was 2003. He showed up in 2000. He got injured in 2003 and came back in 2004. But in 2001, this is a young Edge who, I don't know. Like I'm watching this here, and I was like, man, I didn't even notice it at the time, but like they really wanted to put the rocket behind him and really want to get behind him and make him a player. And he became a player in 2002 when they did the draft, and you could tell that they wanted to do stuff with him when they had him as a part of that SmackDown 6. He was a part of that SmackDown 6. So I'm just saying this was the genesis, if you will, of this Edge push, who would end up being a multi-time world champion, Hall of Famer,
Rated R superstar.
rated R superstar. Still going as we speak of right now. He is in AEW. He's a former TNT champion, and he is teaming up with his old buddy Christian Cage. So, I mean, I guess what I'm saying all this is, I've been watching wrestling for a long time, but I do want to give Tess his flowers too, because I just think Tess was a really good big man. Like I think that I'll sit here and say this without a shadow of a doubt, the best big boot in the business. Like,
yes.
I don't even think it's a conversation when it comes to big boot and Tess. I mean, when he started doing the running big boot, I mean, it's such an impactful move. Like when I see people do it, I'm like, like I appreciate that they're trying, but it's nothing like how Tess does it. But I want to give you the floor here, Jean Baptiste. What did you think about this match?
I enjoyed it. It kind of brought me back to a time, 'cause I used to love watching Test. His pump handle slam was like one of my favorite moves, right alongside the big boot. So again, rest in peace, Andrew Martin. Definitely gone too soon. Hell of a match, especially for Edge. Edge wasn't somebody I looked at back in the day. Like, yeah, you were cool with the Brood. It was dope watching you in them TLC matches with Christian and the Dudleys and the Hardys. Definitely had some heat behind you. I kind of wish I paid attention to him more back in the days, but overall, this was definitely a solid match. I enjoyed watching. Definitely give it a good 8 out of 10. It was pretty cool. Seeing Edge go over, I think back in the day, if it was me, I would have said Test going over, but I get what they were going for. But definitely solid. I enjoyed it.
Mark Owens, I'm interested in your thoughts about this match.
This was a good match. It was definitely fun to see Edge before Edge, because not really. He was kind of sort of still really good doing the same shit. He just needed the platform. Like I was watching this match and I was like, I've seen this before, but I didn't know. Like at the time, I just wasn't hip to the game. I wasn't hip to Edge's game. Like this is Edge. All he ever needed was that platform, maybe the opportunity in the platform, because it's the same thing. I guess technically the difference is, he's the face or whatever versus Tess being a heel, but Edge is Edge. But let's not pretend that Tess was garbage. Tess was fire in this match too. Tess's movement was really good. His psychology was really good. And yes, that boot definitely hits different. And I think the reason why it hits different is because maybe I'm probably misremembering something, but he looks like the most athletic person pound for pound, at least with his size, with that boot. He hits it with a different, or at least when he hits it and he moves with it with a different type of speed than you're used to seeing it. And that's why it hits. So that's why it looks so impactful. That's why it feels so impactful, because he moves differently than like the average big man that has a big boot. So
yeah, he's not stationary. He's actually moving forward with it. So he's adding a little more force behind it.
Yeah,
which is probably what made it one of the best big boots in the game.
Yeah, so
I like that take on it.
Because everybody, if you look at Hogan's, look at Undertaker's, look at Big Show's, or anybody who's done a big boot, it was always your opponent ran into it. Whereas Tess, he propelled himself forward.
He's sending that boot into your face. Yes.
Yeah,
I do recommend, like, I still have Tess as the best big boot, but I would say look at Luke Harper's big boot. I thought he had a pretty solid big boot. Because all the other names that you said, right? Because it was always just a standard move. And even then, if you look at like Undertaker and Kane, Now, granted, I'm looking at the animation from video games, but Kane had a pretty solid big boot. Look at the animation back from Here Come the Pain and stuff like that. But then again, I'm talking about a video game, so it's not fair compared to a running big boot when we're talking about real life. But I do think that there's been some solid solid big boots. But his was the best because like how you threw out how he's running and doing at it. But I'm sorry, I just wanted to throw that out. I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. I appreciate the extra commentary on it. But yeah, overall, like I said, it was a solid match. It was a good match. They definitely put on a nice match. I do want to comment on the music because like I haven't heard Test theme in a mad long. So when I heard it, I was like, oh, Test. And
was you a fan of this? I'm sorry, I didn't admit that you was a fan of this.
Fan of what? Like this match?
I'm sorry, the theme. You was talking about his music because you was like,
oh no, I wasn't a fan of it. It was just because otherwise I'd have been hearing it all the time. Because otherwise I would have it, access to it too. It's been a long time since I heard it, but when I heard it, I was like, oh, test. This is a test. I was like, it's fire. And then Edge's theme had the nerve to bait me. I don't know why I thought he had
Metalingus.
Yeah, I don't know why, but you think you know me, and then it did whatever the hell this theme is, and I was like,
"That's the Rob Zombie right there," and that's why I was confused because, once again, I mean, I'm not trying to make this the dub episode, but it was like, wait, we dubbed Puddle of Mud, but we're having Rob Zombie. That's why I was confused about. That's what threw me off because that's real music. Like, matter of fact, when I heard it here. And I was like, oh, this is dope. And I feel like I listened to it before, like outside of WWE, and I was not impressed. Like, but here I was like, never gonna stop me, never gonna stop, never gonna. It sounded like a really great jam, but I feel like I've always heard the worst version of this song, and I've just never been impressed by it. But
that's possible because there's Rob Zombie is low key good for that. There is a song he has called Dracula. There's a song he has called Dracula, and I feel like there's 3 different versions of it, but there's only one I like. Don't ask me which version it is, but there's one that I really, really like, and then the rest are like, eh.
Well, I know which one that you like. The good one.
Yes. Solid match.
Rich Kings, what did you think about this one, sir?
Hit Mark's point about the test is a testing. So when I heard the beginning, I thought I was getting a newer version. So I was like, well, there's a different version.
Okay.
The 2002, 2003 version.
God. So I like both of them, but when I heard it, because I was going to the bathroom, getting me something from the bathroom, and I heard it, I was like, oh my God, wait. And it wasn't that, but I still like this version. But I will say this is a really I think they gave this what they did for both of the characters here was they gave them enough TV time and time to groom them for a future. I do think they had a plan for Tess eventually. I don't know what happened. But like he obviously they just put on a good enough match, and they had good enough storytelling in the match. I think that they really for the age looking back at it, I think it was one of Test's better matches. And this up and coming superstar, like you expected so much from him, but at the same time, I went back to my childhood and I always thought about why wasn't like a Jeff Hardy in this spotlight instead of an Edge? Like why did Edge and Christian had to break up, or why couldn't Hardy just break up so Jeff Hardy could get this early push to his career versus Edge? So I was always wondering like what was going on. But then you hear the stories after, like they were supposed to break up a few different times, they never broke up, so whatever. But I think it was a good, exciting match. I just got irritated with the narrative, like Edge is better than Christian because at that time I wasn't unsure. But looking back at it, like obviously this was the right choice and it was a solid match.
I one of the things I liked out of your take here was when you were talking about like them having a plan for both, and I mean I don't know if there was ever a direction for Tess at that time and whatnot. I mean, I can just go by like when I watched this, it was clear as day. Like, they always had some kind of direction for it. And I'm just talking about 2020. And you think about all the years that we've been watching wrestling, and they've always had this direction for Edge. Because even in 2002, I think about his run, and he was the Intercontinental Champion, and he was defending the Intercontinental Champion, and he had the single run, and he was one of the once again SmackDown 6, and there was so many things that he was doing, and he won the tag titles in 2002 with Hogan, and I mean, it just always seemed like that. And with Tess, like he was
Yeah.
under
He was Charlotte before Charlotte. He always had the damn belt.
no, I don't think he had a title like that though. Stop
Oh,
it.
he held a tag team championship with Rey Mysterio. What are we doing?
Well, okay. You might have had you might have had him and Rey Mysterio won the championship first. But who were the first SmackDown Tag Team Champions?
I forgot who was the first, but remember those who have the belt.
It was Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. It was Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. Sir.
Oh, right, you're right. It was those two because Stephanie McMahon. Right, you got that.
Kurt Angle.
What do you mean I got that one? I'm always going to win. I'm a born again winner.
That one.
That one. Well, speaking of tag teams here, we had the Dudley Boys and the Hardys. It was a tag team steel cage match. It was a unification. The Dudley Boys were the WCW tag team champions, and the Hardy Boys were the WWF tag team champions. And real quick, there was a segment before that. I'm sorry, I hit the table, but there was a segment before that where Jeff and Lita are talking, and Matt Hardy comes out, and they're just talking because Matt Hardy's been acting kind of weird. And Matt's like, well, you should act weird, and you should act weird. I don't want to lose my job. It's like, okay, Matt Hardy, that's a good cleanup. I thought that was so good. Like, we got a tag team, and I don't want to lose my job, which is true. Like, no one wants to lose their job. That's a terrible feeling. So I understood what he was saying here from me. He said, like, if we win the tag team champions, we have a job no matter what. And he said for Lita to win the women's six packs challenge. And they run out to the ring. The Hardy Boys, this was their hometown. I mean, their home, it's North Carolina. Now, so as I'm watching this match, right? It's been years since I've watched this. I thought it was so weird that this tag team match was a tag team cage match and they were tagging. I don't know. It just threw me off completely. I was like,
yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a tornado tag. It's like,
right.
What are we doing here? Like, how did we get here? Like, who made the rules for this?
I thought it was weird to me because I feel like I've saw enough cage matches where both teams were in the ring. Now, I would feel like I would have to watch some of these matches back, but they were tagging. Like, literally, like, here's the rules. There are no rules in a cage match.
It's supposed to be a no holds barred, but yeah, all right, cool.
Well, someone put the bar in check. I love that joke. I'll put myself on the list. I don't care. I love that one. But the Dudleys and Hardys, I mean, they have so much history with each other. Matter of fact, this is the year 2025 of this recording because it's on YouTube. And if this is being watched many, many years later, the Hardys and Dudleys had their final encounter in 2025. And it was not in the WWE ring. It was in the TNA ring. It was at Bound for Glory table match. And it was to see who's the greatest tag team of all time. And the Hardy Boys beat the Dudleys. And I was a happy Hardy boy because I felt like the Dudleys always beat the Hardys. I used to get so mad. I just said, like, yo, tag me in, bro. Like, I will help. I used to get so look, and the Dudley Boys, I'm gonna give respect to the Dudley Boys. The Dudley Boys deserve their flowers. They were not my favorite tag team, but they deserve their flowers for their and same thing for the Hardys, their longevity, the many companies that they went through. I just think that's something to praise about, like
their contributions to the tag team division, period.
They were a part of that, and correct, sir. They were a part of that revival, that golden age, if you will, for tag team wrestling in the early 2000s. I think you was either a Hardy Boy fan, a Dudley Boy fan, or a Edgy Christian fan. And every now and then you run into a Too Cool fan, but we don't take them seriously. Because their guy ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin, who doesn't ask the heavy-hitting questions, by the way. But nonetheless, these were like this was the big three in tag team wrestling, honestly. And I just wanted to throw that out there. That these guys, these guys, what they contribute and the influence that they have here. So when you watch this match 24 years later, I immediately got upset again because the Dudley Boys won again. I immediately said, oh, come on. And meanwhile, I've always seen this match 3 times, but I still got upset. I said, you know when you watch something enough, you just hope that there's an alternate ending. Like I thought there was like a I was praying for a Snyder cut, but I didn't get mad at Jeff Hardy for doing the Swanton bomb. I got mad at Matt Hardy for leaving the cage immediately. And you know what I said when Matt Hardy left the ring? Oh no, one. He's an idiot. Like, why did you leave the ring? Why did you leave Jeff Hardy to his own devices? That's the wrong thing to do. Like, I would make sure Jeff Hardy left first, and then I'm like, okay, I should climb out. So when Matt Hardy gets mad and says, Jeff Hardy, you should have just did this. No, it's your fault. You're clearly the leader of this group. He gave a Captain America speech before this match. Captain America would never. If he saw his soldiers down, he would still be up there. You know what? Matt Hardy left? Left. Matt Hardy left. And you know what? It left me broken.
Yes.
But I mean, these teams have good chemistry. I thought the match was fine. I just thought that the beginning of the match with the tag stuff just threw me off because it's been years since I watched this. So I was just like, I'm confused by this. But the Dudley Boys win, and they are the unified champs. Matt Hardy, or you get the last. Matt Hardy's like meanwhile, his brother is dead on the ground. Here's Matt Hardy. No. I blame you, Matt Hardy. But Rich Kings, I'm going to give you the floor here first, God. I feel like I haven't given you the floor here first enough. But what did you think about this tag team match with the Dudleys and Hardys, who have tremendous history with each other and will forever be tied to the hip with each other, if you will? So, Rich Kings, the floor is yours.
The result, all right. So then, the ending of the match, you're blaming Matt Hardy.
What you say?
If I'm the older brother, I'm gonna go with this in multiple different ways. If I'm the older brother, so I go first, you come second. You get that? Now you are out the ring. You just step down. He could have resisted temptation. It's like no cookies, and then they see the cookie. They're like, I just have to go. Like, what was he supposed to do? Like, what's going on here? Now, what I would blame him for is when he gets that swanton bomb through a table, and he's just staring there like, fuck. Open this fucking door. Open this door right now. My brother just dumb. Like, it's not working out. Like, so I think that's part of the problem too. But the Jeff Hardy, man, like, we love, like, obviously this is entertainment, right? Oh, come on, man. That small top at the top. What is that hit? Is it the bubble? Like when Bubba Ray does that jump off the thing, it barely hits. You're at the highest thing. Going for a swanton bomb, it's not gonna work. It just isn't. Now, can you imagine if someone, let's put you in your shoes, and let's say Jeff here, you're outside the ring, and Jeff's at the top, and Jeff did that swanton bomb after you gave your speech. Tell me, what are you gonna do?
Who are you talking to, me?
Don't speak. Yeah, you. Yeah, you.
What the hell is that? Why are you putting it?
Yeah,
wait.
He's
coming back in the ring with a chair smashing.
It's not rocket science. Now, what I would say, the match itself, great tag team match. It was good. I thought the cage just got in the way. It didn't add an extra element as much as it was there. It did nothing for me. So I'm not a big cage match person, so I just think it was just in the way. And if you just wanted to have a ladder match or a table match, something else, that could have been better for the Hardys versus a Dudley Boy. It's not, the cage match isn't doing anything for me. They didn't add an extra element to the match. So that's the only thing I would say about the cage. It just got in the way, and it aided for poor decisions and horrible logic.
Mark, I want to take the floor.
Man, so for me personally, this match got the party started, right? So like, yeah. So I'm watching this match, and it's like, oh, it's a cage match. I'm like, wait, what? What's going on here? I somehow I didn't realize that this was going to be a cage match. So I'm hyped about it. I'm a little thrown off by the tags, but whatever. The one thing I found weird, right? Like one of the rules was that they said that in order to win, you either win by pinfall or both members have to get out the cage. So I didn't understand why everyone was trying to get out of the cage solo. Like at one point, it was just Bubba trying to get out and leave Devon, and then Devon getting out trying to leave whatchamacallit, and then Jeff getting out trying to leave Matt, and Matt getting out leaving Jeff. I didn't understand that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like you don't want to leave your teammate in the cage by himself. It's a bad disadvantage. Why would you do that? I didn't, and then especially if you're in my mind, especially if you're Matt and Jeff Hardy, because they got the 3D and nobody kicks out of that. So I don't understand what's going on here.
So you're blaming Matt?
We'll get to that. There was this one point where I think someone, I don't remember exactly who, pinned Bubba, and then there was this, and then like it felt like Paul Heyman summoned Devon the way he yelled. He was like, Devon! And then Devon came and broke the pin. This match was fucking amazing. So then what happens? So then something happens and Matt gets out and Jeff is in there by himself. And I'm sitting and I'm thinking to myself, oh no, this match is over. What are we doing? Because in my mind, I'm like, why would you do that? Now he's gonna get 3D'd and it's over for that. But Jeff is holding his own. So before I continue, in the last segment, Rich Kings had asked why Jeff Hardy didn't break up with Matt Hardy and get the push that they were trying to give Edge and Ortiz. Because Jeff is a fucking spot monkey. So this motherfucker somehow he's got both of these motherfuckers down. He's got Bubba down. He's got Devon down by himself. He is escaping. He's done. The match is won. This match is over. He's at the top, and this motherfucking spot monkey, like you said, could not resist temptation. You had one job. Go this way. No, he fucking swantons back into the cage like the spot monkey that he is. Yo, I'm sitting and I'm watching this and I'm like, no. Because he's climbing. I'm like, oh shit, they win. I'm not even thinking that Jeff is going to I'm not even thinking Jeff's gonna hit this swanton. And I'm like, no.
Well,
no
I mean,
fucking way.
I mean,
No. This is Jeff's fault. I'm going to say it. I don't agree with you about. No, this is Jeff's fault. This is why
you have poison. You have poisoned my lawyer, Rich Kings. That's what happened.
No.
Because let me tell you something. No,
I got my notes.
Forgive. I'm sorry.
I got my notes. I wrote this shit down because.
Well, I'm glad that you know how to write, but I'm sorry that. Well, let me tell you something.
Wait, hold on. Before you go, Greg.
I just want to sit here.
I'm going better, Mark. Hold on. You know who has the wrestling awareness? It goes to Devon. You know what Devon does? I'm gonna throw my ass on this table. He has the wrestling genius to be like, I know you. You want me? And you know what Jeff Hardy does? Yeah, I do.
He lets his intrusive thoughts win. He lets the weed and intrusive thoughts win. And guess what?
I still blame Matt Hardy. I'm sorry that. I'm sorry that.
No.
All I know is that
this is Jeff Hardy's fault. Because what were you thinking? Like,
wow! I was so ready to put your name over so badly. But go ahead, take the floor.
Bro, you had it won. Like, just leave. Take your belts. Keep your job. Go. Clearly, just Jeff didn't want to work there no more. Like I'm thoroughly convinced he just wanted his release, and this was his way out. Because there's no reason you can tell me where. All right, time to skip the king.
I mean, we all know that's what Jeff Hardy was going to do. That's what he was going to do.
I didn't.
I'm sorry. I understand.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Fair enough for you.
I saw this with my own eyes, and I still didn't believe it. I had to run it back. I was like, "There's no way."
And that's honestly a funny rewind because you saw it happen, but like, no. And then you just rewind it anyway.
Yeah,
Like, bro, you know what Jeff reminds me of? You remind me of the first player in Mario Kart who decides instead of finishing the freaking race, wants to take a green shell, turn himself around, and choose violence to hit the person in second place. Like, for what reason? You can just win the fucking race.
Except here, the player wanted to hit the green shell. He missed.
And hit him. It hit himself. Yeah, that's what he's trying to get at.
like, why? Why did you do this? Like, Mr. Hardy, I'm sorry. Like, you're an idiot. I blame Jeff all the way. Like, what were you thinking? He let his intrusive thoughts win. Because he had it. You're in the top of the cage, and it's like Swanson like this. Like, come on, why? Why did you do all that? Like, I felt Matt Hardy's pain at that moment because it's like, bruh, what the entire fuck is your problem? Like, what the entire fuck is your problem? Why? Do you hate me that badly? Is that what this is? Nah, Jeff deserves all the smoke for that one. I'm sorry. No, take your stupid ass out of here.
So I'm gonna stand on this one. Matt Hardy shouldn't have never left Jeff Hardy by himself to do such a thing, but he did, and he never climbed back in. Now, I was also throw out here too that once time they had a cage match and Jeff Hardy left the ring, whatever, and it was Edge and Christian in the ring or something like that. Matt Hardy, but you know what Jeff Hardy did? He climbed back in the ring and they won. They won. Matt Hardy didn't climb back in the ring in time to help his partner, so I'm gonna still hold to that and whatnot, but I understand it's Jack against all, and I stand.
No, it's not Jack against all. Do you know why Matt Hardy didn't climb back in there? Because he looked at his brother and
because he didn't want to win. He did not want to. But why did he not climb in much quicker though? You listen. If you want a legit, hold on. I gave you the floor. Okay.
He muted himself.
I muted myself. I tried to mute him, and I muted myself. That's so loud. No, because I'm trying to get my point. I'm trying to get my point because I gave you the floor, and I just kept getting spoken over. But my point is simply saying, fair point. You said there he watched and all that stuff. All I'm simply saying is Jeff climbed back in the ring, and he won the thing for his team. Matt Hardy didn't do that. But once again, I stand on that on my own, and that is fine, and that is okay. Let's move on to the next thing. It was the immunity battle royal. I wanted to make sure I had a lot of these names because there was a lot of names involved in this match here. So we had the APA, which was Bradshaw and Farouk, Lance Storm, Billy Kidman, DDP, Albert. Mr. Cat is leaving here. Albert, Taz, Perry Saturn. I didn't even know Perry Saturn was in this match. I didn't see him. Raven, Chuck Palumbo, Crash Holly, Justin Incredible, Sean Stasiak, Steven Richards, Tommy Dreamer, The Hurricane, Spike Dudley, Hugh Morris, Chavo Guerrero, and Funaki, and Taz showed up okay, so Taz was also, he showed up later in the match. Hugh Morris, right, you didn't watch WCW, but he was in WCW.
So he definitely didn't get immunity.
No, he did not. No, he did not. He did not. And just to throw out here real quick here too. So Tess was originally not in this match, but he beat up Scotty 2 Hotty, who I would be fuming, especially if Team WWF did not win. But he got beat up by Tess, and Tess entered in the immunity battle royal. And I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and talk much about this match because there's a lot of stuff going on here. Tess gets the dub here. This match goes. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. This match goes 7 minutes and 37 seconds. The last two being Tess, and he eliminates Billy Gunn for the immunity. So he had immunity for a whole year as he won this match. I'll give you the floor here first. Eugene Baptiste, what did you think about this?
I blinked and I missed it.
All right, Mark Wins, what do you got?
I don't have much. It's definitely the match that did not it didn't hold my attention too tough. There were some cool names I heard. I was like, oh yeah, cool, Just Incredible. I saw Just Incredible. Oh, Chuck Palumbo's there. Oh, that's cool. Who else was there? Well, my bugger was DDP and not in the match. He was in the match, right? Yeah, I saw DDP. That was cool. Huh?
He walked in there with a smile on his face and got eliminated with a smile on his face.
Right. So it was cool to see a couple of old faces, but for the most part, I didn't really. It didn't capture my attention, and that's not to say it was a bad match. It just straight up didn't capture my attention. Now, if you want to sit there and say, "Whoa, it had to have been a bad match if it didn't capture your attention," cool, I understand that, but I can't accurately judge the match because I kind of sort of. At some point I kind of sort of dialed out of the match, but
That's
I
fair.
don't like I said I don't know. I can't like I said me dialing out of the match doesn't accurately judge the match because I've been dialing out of Miz matches for decades now, and apparently he's a good wrestler. So yeah,
Rich Kings, you want to give your thoughts here for this match?
Yeah, I mean, it was a typical over the top wrestling match. Like, people get in there, get tossed out. It wasn't bad. It was just, what to like. It is what it is. Like, this is why I was saying I think WWE after the time had a plan for Test because giving us some beauty. I saw a match before. He's looking young and fresh. Like, what are you going? How are you going to like? What are you going to do next with it? Normally, when somebody like, if my mind, if you get somebody on a victory like this, so there should be some type of follow up, right? So, I was surprised to see. I didn't remember that Billy and Chuck was like a team back then. I was like, I thought they was after the thing, but I guess my memory wasn't the greatest here. So, it was good seeing some of the things I wasn't too familiar with. And the reason why you didn't see Perry Saturn, he just was like, look, an extra coming into the ring, and then he got eliminated. Like I believe right after Sean Stasiak because he was the first one eliminated. So
He was that. Matter of fact, I because I missed it. So when I was looking up some like notes just to help me out for the show, they were like APA eliminated Stasiak. I'm sorry, I always mix up his last name here. But like I was like, oh wow, that was so like quick. And I remember thinking about Sean Stasiak, and I remember thinking about at this point, this is when he was doing the whole Planet Stasiak gimmick where I guess I want to say he heard voices of stuff, and they were like, they're telling me to beat you up and stuff like that. And like I remember, your favorite SmackDown game was SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, and the entrance for that was Sean Stasiak doing like this. I remember him, like I remember visually because we played the game so much that you remember certain things and animations and stuff like that. So I want to say that was him just like hearing voices and stuff like that. But yeah, no, this match was I mean, it's nothing to really talk about here. I mean, people were getting eliminated and it was so hard to really uh uh you know take in certain things here and stuff like that. So let's get into give a second, let's bring in back in Jean Baptiste here. So the next match here, we had the six-pack challenge. We had Trish Stratus. I'm so sorry. Stratus leader. We had Jacqueline representing Team WWF, and representing the Alliance, we had Ivory, we had Mighty Molly, and a debuting Jazz. And I just want to sit here and say, I'm glad that they went out and found someone who was, who wasn't like a WWF person, right? So Jacqueline, I remember hearing about stuff that she did stuff with WCW, but I'm more familiar with her in WWF. And same thing with Molly Holly. Like Molly Holly, the first time I saw her, and I didn't notice this until years later, but she was a part of WCW and she was a part of Randy Savage when they had what was it called? Team Macho or Team Madness. And she was Miss Madness with Gorgeous George and Medusa. But I know her as Molly Holly. So my point was that they had someone that was not affiliated with WWF. Jazz, I don't recall her ever doing anything with WWF or anything like that. And this was my debut of seeing Jazz. And I just want to sit there and say, every chance I get when we're talking about Jazz, I just think she deserves her flowers. You talk about Lita, you talk about Trish, you talk about all these women wrestlers who are great. But I think Jazz was someone who was really, really great as well. She is somebody who I remember watching as a kid, and she just has a certain intensity to her that just stood out to me as a kid. Matter of fact, I remember it was Royal Rumble 2002, and Trish Stratus beat her, and I said, "How?" I just did not understand that, and it bugged me. But the following, if it wasn't the following Monday, it was the Monday after where she beat Trish Stratus, and I just feel like Jazz is someone people should talk about more. I mean, she's just someone who is. I mean, I feel like I'm not even giving her the proper flowers because there's not a lot of words I'm adding here. But she was really, really great, and I think she just added an intensity and a toughness and a realism also in the ring because she gave one of the best DDTs I've ever seen, and just so ferocious and I just want to sit here and just say that Jazz was just so fucking cool. And while I didn't watch her ECW stuff, and I can't talk intelligently about that, but her stuff in WWF and the short time that she was there, impressive nonetheless. And when she came in and debuted in this match, and she attacked the leader immediately, I remember saying, "Who the hell is that?" You know, and and this match wasn't long. I just want to make sure I clock it here. This match went 4 minutes and 23 seconds, but I felt like the time that I got to see her, I was impressed. And when they brought her back in December and she was just attacking everybody, you really got an opportunity to know who Jazz was. And she was someone not to mess with. So this match, Trish Stratus wins. She pins Ivory. This was Trish Stratus' first WWF Women's Championship win of many. She ended up winning it 6 more times. And Trish at this time was actually getting a lot better. She was getting a little bit more ring time. She was getting a little bit more. They were giving her a little bit more to work with. And I mean, obviously, Lita was really, really good. Jacqueline is someone else too that I would sit here and say I didn't appreciate enough as well. Like Jacqueline, Ivory, and Mighty Molly were also really, really good workers. In 2002, Molly Holly was rewarded because they end up turning her heel and she had a run with the women's championship, and I thought she was a pretty solid heel at the time. But yeah, Trish Stratus, this was her coming out party, and this is when you knew like they wanted to put the rocket behind her. I want to give Rich Kings the floor here first here about this this match. I mean, it didn't go long here, but what do you think about the effort that these women put into this match?
No, I think it was a solid effort for a 4-minute match, for what you can say. Like you said, I had it down like, Jazz attack leader right away. I think it was pretty funny. But listen, the ending was so horrific. It was so sloppy. So Jazz, you fall out the ring and barely take out whoever that was. Was it Lita or Ivory? I forgot who it was. And then no, it was Ivory. Ivory got the pin.
Ivory got pinned, yeah.
Well, then I'm looking at obviously Trish tried to go for the Stratisfaction. Did it go 10 seconds later? She gets the Stratisfaction, and then I'm watching Jacqueline on the outside of the freaking ring. The match wasn't over yet, and she's walking to the entrance.
I thought I was the only person who saw that, but okay, all right. I thought I was bugging when I saw that.
I was like, hello, are you still here? It was just. I'm a big Trish Stratus fan. She's always my favorite woman of all time. But I was just like, what was that? Thank you, Jean Baptiste, for looking at that. But I looked at her that was just so bad, Jacqueline. Just lay on the floor. I think we all saw that Randy Orton clip where he was on the floor and he was asking, "Is it over? Is it over? Is it over?"
Randy Orton.
Let me know when it's over so I can get up out of here. And so Jacqueline, bad. But I was happy that
she phoned it in and checked out. She definitely phoned it in and checked out. I thought I was bugging when I saw her walk. I'm like,
he said,
"Is she leaving?"
It's time to go.
Oh shit! Yo, wow. Okay, I wasn't bugging. I wasn't bugging. For a 4-minute match, it did what it was supposed to do, but Jacqueline definitely phoned it in. She just said, "Fuck this, I'm leaving. I know I lost. I don't care. Who gives a damn?" But I will agree with Grand Slam Poobah on this. Jazz was definitely underrated, severely underrated. She's definitely one of those people that should have been looked at a lot more, but she did her thing. She did. Kudos to everybody in that match. I'm sorry that match didn't go a little bit further than what it was supposed to, but after seeing Jacqueline just walk out, it's like, yeah, I get it. You know what? Just F us, right? F us fans who was enjoying this, right? That But yeah, definitely shout out to Trish Stratus. You definitely saw improvements, y'all. Because if I'm right, she was just a manager for Tess and Albert for a time being, and was just the eye candy. To go from that to now rising and becoming something great, first time women's champion. It was great to see. It was definitely great to see. Solid for what it was. Yeah, that's it. That's all I can really give on that. It was only 4 minutes.
I'm glad I got the context around this match because this match confused the fuck out of me. So like, I feel like there was not even just talking about Jacqueline, but like in general, there was a lot of well, no, very little, not a lot, very little in-ring awareness. Like I don't really know how to explain it, but if you really watch that match, like there was a lot of shit that happened that didn't make any sense. It was cool. We got to see Jazz, and it was really interesting because I'm looking at this match. We have Jazz, we got Jacqueline, we got Lita, uh, Mighty Holly, Ivory, and Trish wins. And she didn't just win. I remember she took 3 people out in this win, and I was like, oh, apparently this is when she became the goddess. I was mind blown at this. Like this match, like I said, this was a very weird match to me. And I give it the benefit of the doubt because it wasn't that long and I didn't notice that. And I did like sort of peep Jacqueline, like, what is Jacqueline doing? Like, that's it, we're over it. Like it was a very weird match. It was a very weird match. And it's like it's interesting because like it's the match before the big Survivor Series match. And it was interesting because like I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, I guess this is what happened. We're just like, let's hurry up and get this match over with, which is kind of a shame because I feel like the 6 women in the ring, especially if this is like Trish's coming out party, this is like Trish where like she's becoming the goddess that she becomes. It's kind of sad that they didn't get to showcase more in this match. But yeah, this was a really weird match. I don't want to rate this because I feel like rating it is not fair to the women in the match. Like because it was a bad match. I don't know what anybody else thinks. This is a bad match. Huh?
It wasn't great. The reason I think it wasn't good is because there wasn't a lot of in-ring chemistry, right? So you go for the Blue Boys and the Hardy Boys that have in-ring chemistry, and there's a flow to throwing these women together. Said good luck, and I think Jazz had a dinner reservation at the restaurant. I don't care what anybody tells me. The way she was walking to that ramp, she had a date. Or she had to fight to catch because I don't know what she was doing.
Yeah.
But the match, like even with Jazz ring, she barely fell out the ring and she's gone for 30 seconds. Like what?
Yeah.
Like what? We can't treat Jazz like that. Like, no. Oh my goodness, her poor Ivory eating that pin. It was just...
Well, I mean, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, but not for nothing. Ivory or Mighty Molly was there just totally to take the pin. It's very unfortunate, but that's really what those 2 roles were.
Oh man. All right.
The last thing is like how Mark Wins mentioned. I do want to throw out here. I feel like I'd be remiss not including this as well. This was for the vacant WWF Women's Championship. Chyna was the last champion at this point. And, you know, things happened between her and the company, and she was no longer the champion, and she was no longer part of WWF. And they brought that. And I remember, and at the time, I remember it was odd to me because it was like, hey, what happened to that women's championship? It was like they never mentioned it. I guess they just swept it underneath the rug, and then randomly brought it back that November of 2001. So I just wanted to throw that in as well. Just think it would be important to throw that out there. We had Team WWF. It was The Rock, Chris Jericho, The Undertaker, Kane, and Big Show. Big Show replaced Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was originally supposed to be in this match, but then Big Show beat up half of the alliance that no one cared about. And Vince McMahon was very proud of this and said, hey, we're going to throw in Big Show in this match. And it went against, and not for nothing. Now I know Vince McMahon, he was the older man in this match, but shout out to Shane McMahon because he stood in this match regardless. Like he never changed anything. He never found a replacement. He said, "I'm going to be in this I'm going to be in this match," and I think that's cool. And it went against the alliance of Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, who turned on Team WWF in October. It was a match between Shane and Vince. It was a rematch from WrestleMania 17. And Kurt Angle came out, and it was hilarious because I forgot who came in right after him. I think Jericho came after him, hit him with a steel chair, hit the Rock with a steel chair. Anyway, he shows us that he's joining the alliance. Joining Rob Van Dam, who
the most popular guy.
I'm gonna be hold on. Wait, please. I just want to sit here and say RVD. Because I agree with him. He's totally right. But I just wanted to get this out here. He is the most popular, but he was someone who was such a standout for me for the story, this whole alliance storyline and stuff like that. I throw out every chance that I get. I did not watch ECW. I didn't watch. Take a shot every time I say that. You'll be messed up. But like this was my introduction to him. And we did. I want to give a shout out to Rich Kings and EZ. We did a review on the Invasion pay-per-view earlier this year, and when we did it, I remember mentioning like this was my introduction to RVD, and I remember in the match with him and Jeff Hardy, I was rooting for Jeff Hardy, but then RVD hit the Van Daminator and knocked this guy off the stage, and I said, "Who the hell is this guy?" And I immediately became an RVD fan, and this guy who I wasn't familiar with, and he just had such a cool factor, and his move set was just ridiculous. I just wanted to throw out there, like he was totally the MVP of this whole alliance storyline. And Booker T, who I was familiar with because I watched WCW, and he was a part of Harlem Heat. And towards the end of WCW, he ended up becoming the World Heavyweight Champion. Did many things in that company, United States and television and tag team. So I was familiar with these guys, and obviously Shane McMahon, the same guy who bought. I saw you did like that, right? I saw you could put the 5 time. Good job. And Shane McMahon, the same guy who took WCW from underneath his father, which is hilarious. I love that he said in March of 2001, he says, it says McMahon, but it doesn't say Vince. It says Shane McMahon. I feel like when you sign something, you just can't forge like other names. So I don't know how this but whatever, like he put Shane McMahon and everyone was like done deal. So I just think that's so great. Like looking back at that, like because like obviously Vince said I bought it. Oh, but it don't say Vince, it says Shane. I could sue. I feel like there's a lawsuit that can happen, but I don't know. I don't know the law like that. This match goes 40. I didn't realize this match went so long. It was 44 minutes and 47 seconds. It was a winner take all. When I was watching like Vince McMahon, he's prep talking Team WWF, and he's saying, such greats as Classy Freddie Blassie and Andre the Giant and Chief Maivia, and he's mentioned all these guys who were part of WWF and their spirit and how their hair. And as I'm listening to them, first thing I want to throw out here, Kane had this badass outfit. He usually wear black and red, but this bad boy was red and black. I just thought that looked so cool. I just wanted to throw that out there. Jericho, Taker there, Big Show. He does Big Show things. And then you see Rock there, and he just keeps hopping around. And I'm listening to right, and it bothered me though. It actually irritated me because I'm listening to Vince, and all I keep seeing is The Rock just, and he's jumping. And I feel like he had the blood flowing, and he was just in a zone. But he just kept doing it.
Freddie Blassie died that year?
No, he passed in 2003. But Freddie Blassie, he was in the intro video, and I feel so awful not mentioning that. Rich King can speak on this.
I feel like he was there that year too. I think at one point
he was.
Shane and Stephanie were just ODing on him. He was in a wheelchair saying he died soon or something like that. And I'm just like,
no, they said that it was this year, and it was a little bit before Invasion. He tried to give that prep talk. It was maybe the week before Invasion, and that was the one where Stone Cold ended up being Stone Cold again that night where he became Stone Cold.
with the heart
I think it was it. Yes, and I think it was that week of. And that's when they said, "Yeah, we, you're just like the WWF. You're gonna die." It's almost pretty dark, but like you're like, "Wow, that's dirt." but it was that year. But I just wanted to throw out here real quick because just to touch back a little bit about me and Rich Kings in our childhood about watching this, because I remember us watching it, but we had a love for The End Is Near, and they played this in the beginning. And it was such a good video package because as you was talking about, and I mentioned the name, and you mentioned Freddie Blassie, and Freddie Blassie is there, and they show all these which gave it away that WWF was going to win because they never showed any of the past WCW wrestlers. They just showed everyone in WWF, which made it clear that this arc was WF wins, which is fine, whatever. But I just feel like remiss if I didn't talk about that intro because I really love that, and I miss that. The End Is Near. It's not even a long song. If you look it up on YouTube, I think it's like 35 seconds. It's not a long song. It's under a minute, nonetheless. But Rock is hopping.
Yeah.
Yes. And the Rock is hopping around a lot. And Vince says, go. And then Rock is the first one to go. And everyone just, casually walk. And we get this match. Now, this is funny because I love to give this to when we were. I love giving everyone the idea of like not the idea, but like a little like insight with with myself and everyone I do the show with. But when we I just want to make sure I found this thing here. So when we would watch and you have Big Show on your team, right? You knew he was going to be the first one to go, which is so sad. And I remember one time me and Rich Kings we were watching something, and I forget what the match was, but we saw Big Show get eliminated first. And I remember in 2000, the year before that, right? This is 2001, the year 2000, where Big Show used to do this thing where he impersonate wrestlers and stuff like that, right? And he used to be friends with Shane McMahon. And Shane McMahon one day looked at him, he said, "Look at you. You're a pea brain." I don't know why. It's the most insulting thing, but it worked. But I just want to throw out here, he was the first one eliminated in 12 minutes and 42 seconds. And he got, I feel like, every finisher. And they took him out. And I guess that's the best way to make a big guy lose. He gets every finisher. But it's a shame that Big Show was eliminated by Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon got eliminated, and he got eliminated 2 minutes later, 14 minutes and 30 seconds. So Shane McMahon lasted longer than Big Show. That's funny. But I do want to throw out here real quick. This is a call for Mark Wins here. So I remember, I don't want to say I introduced Mark Wins to wrestling games, but there was a wrestling game that we played. I want to say it was Here Come the Pain. And I remember I gave Mark Wins a tombstone. And Mark said, "Oh, that's a good move, but this has this alternate finish." I mean, not it had a pin. So Mark looked and he was like, I like this, but I need to see other versions of this move. And the animation that you saw in that game stemmed from this very match. And it took me years because I never knew where that came from. I remember seeing that. I was like, when did this ever happen? And it's a cool animation. Like when you see someone do like that, I kind of almost wish he did it more, but he didn't. At that point, he wasn't really doing the tombstone as much, honestly. But seeing him do it like that and doing like this, it was just so cool.
I definitely peeped that, and I was like, oh, I'm like, the Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Shane McMahon is eliminated. Jesus, phone, don't do that to me. Shane McMahon is eliminated, and right after that, and not for nothing, I'm looking at this team, right? And I feel like you look at Team WWF, and they got some very heavy hitters. Like I like RVD and Booker T, but then you see Rock, Jericho, Undertaker, Kane. But after Shane McMahon, Kane is eliminated by RVD. Then the Undertaker's eliminated, by Kurt Angle. So RVD eliminated Kane. Kurt Angle eliminated the Undertaker. The Rock eliminated Booker T. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Anytime when Rock and Booker T went against each other and Rock would get the better of Booker T, I used to get so annoyed. I'm just like, what are we doing here? But Rock eliminated Booker T. And after that, RVD gets eliminated by Chris Jericho. And I told you guys this a little bit before Showtime. I said before plenty of times, well, at least I felt like to you guys anyway. I understood they couldn't get the right players for this match and stuff. But when I saw Chris Jericho and Rock on one side and Austin and Kurt Angle on the other, I just said, I don't know. It just bugged me. And this is 20 years later. But I looked at this and I just said, I rolled my eyes. I just said, oh, this is so like.
Because could you imagine if Survivor Series, the alliance angle was the NWO with Goldberg and Sting against almost the same Kane, Undertaker, Rock, Austin, and I would throw in maybe Kurt Angle.
I would throw in Triple H if he's healthy.
If he was healthy, I think Triple H was out with a quad injury at that time.
He was out, but if, I mean, we're fantasy booking, so why not? If he's healthy,
definitely Triple H, Austin, Rock, Taker, and Kane versus on the other side be NWO, Goldberg, and Sting.
No, Kane has to get out.
Who would you replace him with? I feel like I'm interested. Who you got?
not even a hesitation, Kurt Angle. What has Kane done in those 2 years to they will want to make you put Kane in that match? What belt has
he's just a big guy.
What has he done? He's a
what guy. Wasn't he world champion?
for a night?
World champ. He held the tag belts.
No, sorry, Kurt Angle. He at that point, Grand Slam champion at that point. You're talking about Rock, Undertaker, Triple H, and Austin.
I don't mind Austin. I don't mind Angle, but I'm not hurt about Kane as well. But like, yeah, I would. I think I would put like if you go with Kurt, yeah, no, he's done a lot. He done a lot, but I think some people might go with Kane because of the longevity. But I understand what you're coming from. But yeah, I mean, people were still rocking with Kane, bro. Like, let's not act like. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's me.
Who was actually a Kane fan, or who could tell me about a Kane match at that point?
A Kane match? Like, who can tell you a Kane match? In general, or what are we talking?
At that time, in 2001 or 2000, 1999, 1998, pick those years.
He's had plenty of matches. He had matches with X-Pac. He had matches with Albert. He had like if we're just talking about naming matches, we can.
Champion at that point.
I'm sorry. I need one at a time. I'm sorry, huh?
I'm sorry. My bad. I was just thinking. I think Kane had Grand Slam at that point with Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I don't think he was Grand Slam at all. No,
he's not.
He had the world title. He had the tag belt. I believe
he had Intercontinental in 2001. But I mean, if we're including the European Championship, he didn't hold that. And the Hardcore Championship he had, but Kurt Angle had that too. But he had that for like 5 minutes, and then RVD won it back. So I don't know if we're including that though. I don't know if that's included. Obviously.
Yeah, all right, makes sense. I thought he held European, but yeah, Kane held most.
No, he never held Europe. He never held you. That was the only thing that was missing was European, and no one's going to count light heavyweight because
No, we're not.
Yeah, no one counts that.
No, and it took him years to get to the Intercontinental Championship. We're going to tell him you want to put this man.
Well, Kurt Angle won it before him, so Kane debuted in '97. Well, okay, that's fair because he debuted in '97 and won it in 01. Okay, fair. But he won it. I mean, in that case, I almost feel like so. Never mind.
If stars in the game at that point, Kane was a glorified mid card, and sometime we're going to bring him up, but he's going to remain in the mid card. Why is a mid card wrestler in the main event status? Why are we doing that?
Because he had main event matches.
When do we do that? Like, so why would we do that now? Because longevity. This is not an award.
No, didn't Undertaker go at it already?
I'm sorry. What was that? I'm trying to hear the question.
No, we're saying who are the top 5 men in this match? The top 5 WWF superstars, not stars, superstars versus WCW superstars. If you're gonna put in Goldberg, Sting, and NWO, I'm sorry, I'm not putting Kane in that match. Now, if you're telling me you're going to have a DDP, a Buff Bagwell, a Scott Steiner, okay, I can get jiggy with Kane, but sorry, no, we're not.
And not for nothing. It's a fair point because I was just watching something. It's so funny that you're saying this. I was watching, and it's such a great thing I saw on YouTube, and they were talking about if you had the right players for this invasion and all this stuff and whatnot. And they had Kane against somebody else. He wasn't in like, and they didn't have like a Survivor Series like match. I forgot who it was that he won against. It was somebody else. And I was like, oh, that's very interesting. I wish I remember who it was. I just don't remember on top of my head who it was. So if you took, like I said, I'm not bothered if Kane is in it. But if you said like Kurt Angle, up and coming young guy, and he accomplished a lot, that's still not a bad move at the same time as well. That's not a problem.
I mean, I would
I'm
replace
just
Kurt
saying,
Angle.
either one of them don't bother me.
I would have put
Well, Michaels wasn't there.
fantasy booking. If we're fantasy booking,
We're fantasy booking based on who's there, though, right?
No, we're fantasy because Triple H was there. We threw Triple H in there, so if we're fantasy booking to.
Well, Triple H was there; he was hurt. But if you're just saying we're just fantasy booking in general, I'm sorry. I just wanted to know what is
right.
What's
the borderline of this? Right?
if we're talking
Because if that's the case, then I
booking,
want Juventud Guerrero there, and he beat them all.
Oh, we're being serious for a second. We were saying this, right? So
me too. I was very serious.
We're talking people.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
You're saying you're very serious of Juventud Guerrero being on the WCW roster.
Yeah, he would pin Shawn Michaels in 5 seconds.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, he muted himself because he knew, like, how can you combat that? He's ready to combat me on everything else. I won. It's hard being a born again winner. I'm the best. I mean, if you're talking WCW, because you're talking about fantasy booking, I feel like you got the NWO, you got Goldberg, but I almost feel like you don't want to include all of NWO in here. But I almost feel like, because I'm like, would you not have Ric Flair? Because Ric Flair was WCW too. Like, I almost really feel like you have to have him on that thing. I feel like when we did,
I would put Ric Flair against McMahon. Let Ric Flair and McMahon go at it. Let them two old heads go at it. Make it fair.
I feel like if you had that and we're doing fantasy booking, seriously speaking, I would have Eric Bischoff against Vince McMahon. Eric Bischoff was the same guy who was calling out Vince McMahon in the late 90s, and these were the two
Monday Night Wars.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say like he was the owner talking about Eric Bischoff, but like he was someone who was in charge, and you got Vince McMahon.
They were the faces. They were like the faces of the company.
Time out. We have the power to fantasy book whatever we want, and we're gonna blow a match on Eric Bischoff and Vince McMahon.
Well, when he said Vince McMahon, I wasn't gonna go with Ric Flair. I was just gonna go with what I just think they do. Like, if you have a match, if you're fantasy booking, and let's be real, I would take Undertaker out of this 5-minute match and have him against Sting.
That would be a hell of a match. I almost wish we got that.
But I mean, I'm we're having some humor here and some fun here. Right. I said, okay, Chris Jericho. Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle gets eliminated by The Rock. Stone Cold eliminate Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is not a fan of this. He tries to screw The Rock. I'm sorry, I said Rich Kane. I'm sorry. Jean Baptiste, because I didn't hear it, but I remember you always pointing out this little thing when Jericho tried to cross The Rock, and The Rock kicks out of the breakdown, which is now known as the skull crushing finale. But Jericho tries to make his way back to the ring. What does Undertaker say to one?
What are you doing? I was just trying to help. That's bullshit.
Very good, sir.
He said, "What are you doing out here? I was just trying to help. That's bullshit." I'm just like, "Oh shit, what?"
Very good, sir. Very good. But it's revealed because everyone thought it was going to be Stone Cold, but the mole in the alliance was Kurt Angle. He crosses Stone Cold, he hits him with the belt. Rock hits him with the rock bottom. 1, 2, 3. That's the match. I mean, this was fine. I don't think this was terrible. I mean, once again, like, I watched this and I just go like, man, certain things was missing for me in this match. But I feel like the gentlemen in this match all like put their effort into here and try to make this something big. And I just think that they realized, talking about the WWF, they realized at this point, like, it's time to end the storyline. The storyline has been going since the summer, entering winter, and they decided to close it. And Vince McMahon earlier that month said it's time to end this alliance crap, because he realized the story was crap. But But I'm gonna give Rich Kings the floor first because I know I irritated him with my outstanding fact about Juventud Guerrera. But I'm gonna give him the floor first. Rich Kings, what did you handsome man? What did you think about this match? And anything that I might have forgotten that you want to add to this match?
So, well, I think so. Watching the match again because I didn't catch it the first time. Watching it just now recently, how everybody entered the ring is how they got eliminated. So whoever the first person was the WCW and whoever the last person was the last man standing. So you think about it, Shane McMahon was the first one in. Then was Booker T. Then was RVD. Then it was what's this guy's name? Kurt Angle, and then Stone Cold. Who got eliminated first in the Alliance? Shane, then Booker, then Rob, then Kurt, then Stone Cold. Same thing with WWF. It was the same exact Big Show first, then Kane, then Undertaker, then Jericho, and then The Rock. Right? So it was they gave you a preview what was going to happen throughout the match, and the reason why I called it because Big Show eliminated first, and then Shane McMahon. And I was like, I wonder if they're going to keep going with this kind of back and forth. So it was good seeing that, and I think it was a very long final match. Like 40 minutes is a long time for that, but it was pretty good. It told a little bit of a story to back and forth, and it should be The Rock versus Stone Cold. And that in itself was a mini match in itself, right? Because that for like that's at least 10 minutes for them to have a little one-on-one with the interferences and things of that nature. And that was the first time to hear JR bitch about something that's on the match when Kurt Angle screwed him over. But it was like a lot of back and forth and a lot of like tension. But there was also some moves and roll-up pins that actually worked, right? Like I can't remember up until that wrestling fan that I seen like a roll-up pin actually work in a main event match, right? Or RVD with that drop kick or the aerial kick. What are we going to call that?
Van Daminator.
It was a Van Daminator?
Yeah, it's kind of so like the Van Daminator technically is supposed to have the chair and the Van Daminator to your face, but it's that same type of aerial kick. It's basically the same thing. That's what he hit him with.
Got you. So
it just didn't have the chair there, huh?
So what was the Van Terminator?
Probably exactly that. I don't know, but
No. It's when he jumps. I'm sorry. Apologies. When he jumps from the turnbuckle to the corner. The thing that Shane was doing.
That coast to coast business. Okay.
Coast to coast or corner to corner. All right, got it. So it was like there was a lot of unexpected things happening in the match. Even though this is like maybe my 5th or 6th time watching it, I'm still like, that worked? Or I'm like, huh? So it was really good to see the matching in the full. Like I was a big WWF fan growing up, so I was in favor of the win. And even before that, they had like this promo and I'm like, why are we getting this promo up to today? Raw in San Diego, Raw, SmackDown here, and it was always Raw. So that should have given me a thing like WCW in this match. They're promoting Raw and these other cities.
But Rich King, can I just ask you real quick? Do you feel like that just takes away from, like it's just a giveaway? It almost feel like just say catch us here. Like there should have been some alternative, wouldn't you say?
The adult us called it, but the younger we just.
You're right. No, that's true. That's so true. No, that's true.
So I think
because this was before Dirt Sheets.
Yeah.
No, Dirt Sheets were, but see that you're incorrect. Dirt Sheets was around. We just didn't care about it. Dirt Sheets was always around.
We didn't really have access to it. The internet kind of made it more accessible for us to read Dirt Sheets.
And that's the thing. The internet was the internet, but I kid you not. I promise you, the internet was like. So I can't speak for everyone, but like I knew I had access because I got spoilers for SmackDown for weeks, not realizing, not even for weeks. I got that week's spoiler for SmackDown, not realizing I was catching spoilers. I was just reading it, and I know this thing was going around. You can ask Mark Wins here. I remember reading stuff, and I remember giving him the review of what TNA was going to be like and whatnot. So it's been around for a long time. It's been there. It's been there. So that's. I just wanted to throw it out there, but carry your thoughts. I'm sorry. I just wanted to.
On Monday, right? Well, I don't want to give it to White, but on Monday. But like, there's so many different things that that caught my eye now that I didn't catch before, and like but it's like it. I'll give you this now. I know you said the Rock sharpshooter was awful, and watching that sharpshooter being applied, I'm like, how do you tap out to this?
But he actually had some tap out victories. I can't name all of them, but one of them was Chris Jericho, which is very upsetting.
Chris, was it Angle?
Benoit didn't.
So Angle
I don't. You might be right. I'm sorry. I just don't recall. I'm sorry. I didn't write that down.
Out to that, I'm like, what? I think, Angle did tap out because Paul Heyman says,
okay,
be in some serious pain because my career's on the line.
Angle definitely tapped. Yeah, it's in my notes. He tapped from the sharpshooter.
Well, they used to call it the slop shooter, but yeah,
the slop shooter.
Yeah, but all in all, I was happy with the result. Still happy with the result up to this day. And I think I remember this last tidbit. Like I remember complaining so much fan The Rock back in the day, like The Rock never wins. And then I'm watching these things like, damn, The Rock wins a lot. So then I'm like, damn, the guy.
Bro, yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
But that was it.
No, he's not lying because, like, it's funny. He's saying you felt like there was a time where you just seemed like The Rock seemed to always lose. I was the opposite. I used to be like, yo, why are you beating my faves? Like, I kid you not, I was such a Jericho guy that I just think Jericho, I would just say it right now, Jericho was the better in-ring worker than The Rock. The Rock, I think I didn't give enough credit for his in-ring stuff. And I always I want to give a shout out to a friend. His name is Stan. And I'm going to give a shout out to you because you always repeated what he said. That was something that I missed. And you said he might have not been the most flashiest wrestler, but he was someone who understood the fundamentals and whatnot. And I don't think you can call too many times that he botched or anything like that. But at the end of the day, I could never understand why Jericho would struggle with this guy. I said, why are you struggling? And that used to bother me. But I just want to give Rock his flowers that, maybe I was a little too harsh and stuff like that. But
the most electrifying man in sports entertainment.
I know that's why you can't touch him because you would explode. But Mark Wins, what did you think about this? You said you have notes, and then Gene Baptiste.
I definitely have notes because man, this match it was such a star-studded match, and I loved it. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. Like, I don't know. You guys would have to tell me if there was ever a more star-studded Survivor Series because I thought there was so much stars here, stars there. It was an incredible match. It had the star power that you needed. Like you say, it was 44 minutes. It kind of sort of needed to be 44 minutes. I'm mad that all of a sudden nobody's here. I guess I will save. I guess I'll save it because there's a point I need to get across. Absolutely, and I need everybody to be here to see it, to hear it. But we'll get there.
Yeah, take the floor. Richard King said he'll be right back. So you can start.
Gotcha. Yeah, but I got a point that everybody needs to hear because I just want to say JR is a liar. We'll get to that. Shane McMahon was the assist button, and I loved it. Every time in the beginning of the match, every time someone was trying to get a pin, here's Shane, boom, in and out. He's not sticking around. We're not trying to act like the tough guy. We're breaking the pin, maybe one punch, maybe two punch, and we're out of there. I have no time for this. My career, my investments, and everything is on the line. Wonderful. Rich Kings is back. So yeah, I just want to point something out. So JR is a liar. He said that at some point the stakes there were never any more stakes on the line other than this match. And at first I was like, all right, cool, whatever, he's selling the match. And then he said something like, you can look all the way back to the Abe Lincoln days. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Does he not know that my client over here, the great Grand Slam Poobah, defeated Abe Lincoln in the coldest day of March?
Thank you.
Look, this guy, right? So he doesn't
understand lore.
He doesn't understand lore. He doesn't understand timelines. He doesn't understand how things shift because of quantum theory and all that. And that is how he can be from North Carolina and Canada at the same time because he was the one that defeated Abraham Lincoln in the coldest day of March. Now, I'm just gonna let that thought, I'm just gonna let that thought linger. But,
I have questions. I have too many questions.
I have a question for you. Do you tech?
Yes.
But JR is kind of either JR is a liar or he's ignorant. He didn't know. But yeah, I just want you guys to know that the Great Grand Slam Pooba is an American hero, even though he's Canadian. And talking about the stakes shouldn't have been higher. No, the Great Grand Slam Pooba wrestled with the highest stakes, at least in America. I can't listen.
I mean, there's a lot of stories I haven't told yet, but children, sit by me sometime and I'll tell you some things.
Right.
There we go.
So I'm gonna continue with my synopsis, my personal synopsis of it. I'm gonna continue with my personal synopsis of this match. Big Show got hit with the commentator's curse, and I thought that shit was hilarious because JR called him dumb, and then in like 3 seconds he was eliminated. I thought that shit was hilarious. It was like, oh, Big Show's a big dummy. I don't even know what was going on with Big Show and why him being a big dummy was a gimmick. But JR called him a dummy, and then I think he got hit with like 3-4 different finishers, and then
Big Show before he had. Now, I'm sorry because I missed that completely, but that is so funny to me because what Big Show should have done before he should have said and never took no chances. He said, I might not get another opportunity with this. He should have strangled. My God! No, because you can't be calling people that, bro, and not expect to get punched in the face. No, but go ahead. I'm so sorry. That is too good.
Let me ask this question: did you not find it like I get this is scripted? Sure. So he gets hit with every finisher, and we on the side just like we're not going to come in and kick him out. I'm just looking around like no one's going to help. Carry on.
Yeah, that was fucking hilarious because, like I said, called him dumb, commentator cursed, and then boom, he got hit with everything, and then he's out. And like, so then,
no. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Then I think next what happens eventually, Shane gets hit with every finisher, and then he's done. And it ends with the game over. Like it's game over for Shane. Match continues. RVD and Kane is in there. They're going back and forth until RVD Van Daminates Kane, and because everybody else in the crowd goes crazy, there's nobody to save Kane. So Kane gets 1, 2, 3. He's out. Undertaker, for some reason, he's back in the ring before everybody else, and he's holding it down, and then he gets stunned. Adios, he's eliminated. So now it's only Jericho and The Rock left. So I'm looking at this match. Now, it's one of those things, this is like to me, I'm watching this like an Avengers level threat. I was like, I know it's going to happen. I know the result, but how do we get there from here? Because how is only Jericho and The Rock left? Like, this is crazy to me, right? So then, Booker T gets disrespected because for some reason he gets rolled up and he's eliminated. I'm confused here. Like, I'm like, what are we talking about? Why we do this? Like, at least here's my thing. At least hit him with a finisher. If I remember correctly, there was this whole thing about how either Booker T copied The Rock or Rock copied Booker T. Rock copied Booker T because the Rock bottom looks like the bookend and the bookend looks like the Rock bottom. If The Rock is going to beat Booker T, it should at least have been with a Rock bottom, personally. But whatever. Disrespect. He's eliminated. Who's next? What happens here? Jericho after that, knee to the face. Jericho. Oh, okay. I guess Jericho eliminates whatchamacallit with that. What move was that? What move did he eliminate?
The code breaker. The code breaker.
No, it wasn't the code breaker because that came in 07. Was it the Lion Salt?
And it was definitely not a Lion Salt.
With the stroke, but he renamed it something else.
Oh, the break. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because the code breaker didn't come until 07. I'm sorry. I like certain things like that. I remember. Okay.
RVD sold their shit. Sold it like it was time for pay rent. Done.
RVD, I gotta throw it out here. RVD is a great seller. Have you ever seen how he takes a power driver? Talking to you, Rich Gaines. Have you ever seen when he take a power driver?
Remember that clip I sent you 3 months? Yeah, I do. Remember that clip I sent you 3 months ago where Mark Henry used to jump on people and how he sold that jump?
Oh, you talking about when he run through the ropes, right?
RVD sold the shit out of that move. I said, "Whoa!" I remember
No, RVD was RVD. Listen, look up this cell right here. It's probably I don't know if a lot of people remember this, but it's a ridiculous cell. So you see how people sold the RKO. Look how he sold the RKO one time. He had a flip with it and whatnot. It was ridiculous on how he sold that move. RVD is really good at that kind of stuff. Yeah, oh, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Kind of, sort of, but I'm
Okay.
I'm
Never
remembering
mind.
the pile driver because I think it was Tommy Dreamer's pile driver. He was
Yes,
so
yes.
crazy
Because he bounced. He would bounce. And look up one. There's a few times where I'm sorry. I just wanted to talk about RVD because RVD is so fucking dope. And his cell, and I love that you mentioned it. There was one where he would take a DDT, and like he would like. There was a way that he did it where it looked like he landed directly on his neck, and he'd be like, "No, I'm good, dude."
He'd be straight up. He'd stand his body straight up for a good couple seconds. Yes.
Yes. But he also kind of had like, you're correct, but he would also kind of have like a little bit of a bounce, if that makes sense. It was like he would do it, but it was almost like a little bit of a bounce, almost like he did it and bang and whatnot. I don't know how he did that. I don't know how you have a bouncy neck like that because I know I do that and I'm in the MCU. Oh no, that's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm sorry. I'm in the hospital is my point. Because if I'm in the MCU, then
ICU is what you're talking about. The intensive care unit. Yes.
There's a CU up there at some point. I just, but I'm so sorry, but I just wanted to talk about this stuff. But please carry on your analogies on this match.
So yeah, RVD is eliminated, and then what happens here? Angle taps from the sharpshooter, and I'm like, wait, angle. So angle tapping. Anytime angle taps, it's amazing to me. Like at least in retrospect, because it's like angle tap. That's crazy. Like he really submitted. But then you're trying to tell me he submitted to Rock Sharpshooter. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little confused. I was like, what's going on here? Like this match is at this point, this match is off the rails, and I love it because it's like, what's going on? I don't know what's happening. I think Jericho gets eliminated. How did Jericho get eliminated? He got hit with a roll up?
He got hit with a roll up, but also his knee was on the back of the roll up with that brace.
That's what happened. Okay. Because I was like, at this point, I'm like, yo, these roll-ups gotta go. Like, the
most devastating move in WWF history, the fruit roll-up.
And the roll-up.
I can't stand the roll-ups. I hate when matches end on roll-ups. If the roll-up doesn't have like a cheap twist to it, where like, oh, we're grabbing a rope somehow, or we're pulling tights or something, if we're not doing anything cheap, it pisses me off and I hate it.
The most devastating move in WWF history, roll-up.
Only roll-up I like is a fruit roll-up, and that is it.
So then, so boom, at this point, oh no, right, before we sit there and we're like, it's officially rocking, it's rocking Austin. Jericho comes in, tries to screw the Rock, and then he hits him with the, what was it, not the code breaker, the
breakdown.
He hits him with the breakdown. And we're like, oh, but this is impossible, right? Like, once again, I know the result. This doesn't make any sense. But of course, the Rock kicks out. We're not having this. So Jericho sees this. He's like, what? So he starts going back in there like, nah, I'm not having this. And then here comes the Taker. Taker with the smart play. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, yes, Taker. Deal with this motherfucker, please. Oh man, it was wonderful. So then it's Rock versus Austin. Apparently, Steve Austin has a sharpshooter. He's got the sharpshooter in on
Rock, right? Yeah.
He's got this, and then Paul Heyman says this hilarious line. He said, what did he say? He was like, "Yo, why is Earl Hebner not calling for the bell?" And I'm like, wait. Why would Earl Hebner call for the bell? And then, literally, like, as if to answer my question, he goes, "That didn't." I think JR said, "Well, Rock's not tapping." He says that didn't stop Hebner from tweeting. Yo, what? He really just dropped this screw job Easter egg. I was like, wow, this match is incredible. And then at some point, he breaks out of it. Rock hits Steve with the stunner, and I'm like, what is going on? And then Earl Hebner's counting. No, was it Earl Hebner? It couldn't have been Earl Hebner, right?
If it wasn't Earl, it had to be Nick Patrick because it was those two were
right, because there was ref on ref prime. Like one of the refs started counting, and he pulled like, and I'm like,
What are you doing?
What is going on with this match? I'm just thoroughly confused. I'm just like, I don't understand. And then we refs is knocked out, bodies is on the floor, and Steve rock bottles the Rock. I'm going crazy. And at this point, I'm going crazy. I don't know what's going on. I don't understand how this match ends. I'm like, wow, what is going on? I don't understand. And then out of nowhere, America's, let's see, Grand Poobah, Captain America, Grande Americano. So that puts him at fourth. America's fourth greatest hero, Kurt Angle. America's fourth greatest hero, Kurt Angle, comes in with the save, clocks Austin with the belt, and boom, The Rock gets the pin, and boom, it's lovely. You see Heyman's face. He's just confused. He's like, what is going on? What happened? I don't understand. And yeah, that is Survivor Series, and I absolutely love that match. I understand where you're coming from, Great Grand Slam Poobah, where the biggest players aren't involved.
Sure,
but
you entertained it.
Yes, I'm saying call it casual ignorance, and maybe I don't know enough. But was this not a top three? Was this not a top three Survivor Series match, or like is there?
I don't. You know, I would love to actually go through like that kind of thing. Because right now I want to say no, but like to be fair, I would like to go through all the Survivor Series matches that I've seen and compare just to be fair. And no, I don't think it's ignorance. Here's the beauty about professional wrestling. Like one of the things I try to do is like, and I know sometimes I'm a little hard on it. Like if my joke is always, if you're a Bill Goldberg fan, you can't talk to me. But my whole thing about professional wrestling is you feel it, right? So you felt like this was a great match, and I love that for you. That's tremendous. I have a different take, obviously, just a little bit because like, and I said this with all the respect in the world. I hope this never comes off offensive anyway. I'm just so engulfed in it, right? So like, there's this different take that I have that you might have. But you enjoyed this. Like, you're like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but how the hell did we get here? Because you already like, I love that. I love that take here. I really do. I really love that take of you're like, I know WF win, but how do we do this from here? Right? Like, how do we get there? How do we tell this story? And from the story that and there's a lot of things, and I'm not going to say, oh, because you're missing this element and stuff like that. No, I'm not going to say that. The stuff that was presented to you was entertained, and that is fantastic, and that is great. So I would never sit here and tell you like, no, it's not ignorance. It's just you enjoyed it, and I don't think this was terrible by any means of the imagination. Like for me, it was just like when you hear alliance, you're talking about these interlopers invading your.
Right, we got WCW and ECW, so you would expect that team would have WCW and ECW people on it, and meanwhile, here's Kurt Angle
and Austin,
right.
And here's the thing too.
Here's the thing that confused me about Austin. Wasn't Austin the one that like randomly came in and destroyed like half, 50 to 75% of the alliance, and that at the end of that one SmackDown, where like
it was on Raw. It was on an episode of Raw, and he did, and then he turned on them that same Sunday. So Monday he did all that, and then Sunday he joined in. And you know what it was, and what the reason they did all that was because when they looked at the alliance angle compared to WWF, they're like, oh, this is uneven. So they wanted to add some sense of like, there's a threat there. So that's why they added Austin and Kurt. And it just, like I said, I'm looking at it from 2020 eyes. And even as a kid, I was kind of like, and like, I knew Austin as a WWF guy, but I know that he did stuff in WCW and stuff like that. But like, he's a WWF guy, you get what I'm saying? I'm hoping that makes sense.
Absolutely. Although you can make the argument that Kurt
was the ECW guy.
Well, that too, but no, like Kurt was the mole. Like you could sit there and be like, all right, boom. Like they put him in to be the mole. Like that was the long play from Vince. So like,
and that's fine.
That was easy to explain away. But Austin, I mean, I guess technically you can explain Austin too because Austin does not like Vince. So he's like, yo, I have a chance to screw Vince Yeah, I'm in. Let's do this.
Hey, you know what? I
but
don't look at that. That's fair.
But I hear what you're saying. It would have been nice to have.
I do like that point where you said there and say like I get another chance to screw him. That's fair. But I'm sorry, Rich King, you wanted to say something, sir?
No, I would just say personally, I would have just switched Kurt with Chris Jericho because we know Chris Jericho's in WCW and he had this thing.
And Easton,
yeah, and
you know what? Yeah.
Beginning of, I mean, because right after that, he won the Undisputed Championship, right? So if you would have just started that character a little bit earlier, I think it would have been good.
You know what? That's a good take on it. Like you would exchange Kurt for Jericho, and I kind of like that a little bit more because even earlier on, right, like that a little bit before. No, it was a little bit after. No, it was after Invasion. So Rock was the champion. Oh, he wasn't the champion yet, a champion anymore. And Jericho was the champion, and he had this meeting, and that's when The Rock said, like, how do we not know you're gonna turn? Last time we checked, you was in WCW getting your ass kicked by Juventud Guerrera. He actually said that, by the way. That's the actual words. And that's when Jericho.
Even The Rock knew that Juventud was over.
He's a wrestling savant. That's why.
So that's the word I was looking for. Savant. Thank you, sir. He said the word because I was like, it's another word. And I know you said guru, and I love that, but it was a word. But savant, I love that word. I heard that today. I was just like, savant. But yes. And he also knew he didn't want to deal with that kind of punishment. But I just want to throw out there that, I mean, altogether, I mean, I did enjoy watching it. And I look forward to doing more Survivor Series with you guys. This was 2001, and we're looking to do a few more before the month of November is up. So this was the Big Pop Theory podcast, and this was, our first retrospect in a while, and we hope that you guys enjoyed it. We went 2 hours and some change, and if there was anything that we didn't include or there was something that fella we should have talked about, please just put it in the chat and put it in the comments section, and we'll try to make sure to either read it back for the next show or make sure for the next review, because we're going to do another Survivor Series, and we'll read it and hopefully we'll add some more context for the next one. But altogether, I didn't hate this, but I was so glad that the Invasion storyline was over. I'm not going to hold you. Like, I was just so glad that arc was done, because it was just like, once again, I just look at it and I'm just like, yeah, we didn't have the players. And I want to ask you this here. And Mark Wins, if you have any thoughts about this, please add it. I mean, this is not a question that no one was prepared for. But Rich Kings, I'm going to throw this your way. So we didn't have all the players here. Do you think this was a story that could have worked a year later? Like let's say we didn't get Goldberg into 2003, and then we didn't get Sting until 2015. But like, we had a lot more players in 2002. Do you think the storyline could have worked in 2002 if we waited for some of these guys to come in? And I mean, yeah, I'm just going to keep it like that. Do you think this could have worked in 2002?
Well, you look at 2002, right?
Mm-hmm.
Austin's gone, and towards the end of 2002. There's no Austin. There's
That's
no
true. That's true.
So it's like it could work, but you're still taking out key elements. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. That's fair.
It depends what part of the year it would have happened. If something in 2002, it could have worked. But after SummerSlam? No.
And at that time, Austin was gone. Rock was getting ready to leave for Hollywood. We had Triple H, and that's all. Honestly, that's all WWF needed at the time was Triple H, because he ended up beating all these guys. But no, I do think that's fair. I think that's a fair answer. I'm sorry. What did you want to say? I'm so sorry.
But it could look a lot different, right? Because the NWO was there, right, in 2002.
Yes.
And you have Shawn Michaels returning, so it's just a different element. It could have been DX versus NWO. We could have had that route. You could have had Brock Lesnar, who's somebody's up and coming. You could have painted it 2 different ways. But, it's just a different thing. Because even looking at SmackDown at the end of 2002, like, Big Show ended up winning the championship. Are we really going to put him up there? Like, he got all the finishing moves, right? So, just a year earlier, he was the first person gone. Now you tell me a year later in the following Survivor Series, he wins the belt against Brock Lesnar. So, I don't know if it would have been the same in 2002 anyway.
That's fair. Yeah, sure. If you have any thoughts, please.
I don't think it would have worked. The only reason why I don't think it would have worked is because So I hear what you're saying. You were there at the time, and you're done with the story. You want this invasion crap to be over, just like Vince. But from the little bit that I saw, like, and the little bit that I know about it, from like the beginning of the invasion, Austin coming in, Austin screwing people over, everybody going back and forth between who's on what team, and like I'm not 100% sure you can recreate this or that particular aura in 2002 because like okay, yes, you get the players, but say for example, like you have everybody that's there, the angle would have to be different because now you'd have to get like who would be there? It'd be Rock, it'd be Nash, Hall, and you got to get them to rally the troops after they've already been there for a year to sit there and say, "Yo, fuck these WWF guys." And I feel like that. And I'm not saying that angle can't work, but I don't think that angle has the same aura. If that makes sense.
So I get what you're saying. It's almost like tap on. And my apologies, but almost tap on it now or let it go. Right? Like do it now. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Because I don't know how to like. I don't know how to fully explain it, but like I said, I feel like this with very little knowledge to other Survivor Series. Like I know that there was the I know the one that I like was the NXT and the NXT one. That one was really cool. 20. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's a War Games that tops it that goes up there, and I'm pretty sure there's a Survivor Series that like I said I don't know about, but this is like a top 3 Survivor Series match to me, at least top 5. I could be wrong.
Fair.
Maybe there are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 objectively better Survivor Series matches. Cool, understandable, but like the aura and the storytelling and the way this was like here it is. Like I said, if you want to end it now. Cool, I understand. You don't want this storyline to drag, and then that's the other thing. If you don't want the storyline to drag on any longer, this was the perfect end to it. Like, I can't. I know that we have this segment that we're going to debut at some point, but
yes,
I don't see how with the tools that they had and everything in place, I don't see how you can book it better other than you get an extra. This thing it said 2 hours and 36 minutes. That's what it said on Peacock. So unless you get that extra 20 something minutes to make you make the Tajiri match a little longer, you make the women's match a little longer, maybe even the beginning match a little longer, but maybe you don't really want to do that because like I said, it was a great pay-per-view. The only thing that I would do
I love that.
The only thing that I would do is make maybe the women's match a little longer and the and Tajiri versus Regal a little longer.
Match. Okay.
But other than that, like I said, I understand what was going on in terms of how we're booking the matches in the grand scheme of things. I can't really book it better than that. I don't think you can. I don't know.
So that's fair. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's so fair because that segment, and I look forward to hearing that eventually when we do get that going. Matter of fact, Rich King's text me like, the segment. I'm like, oh, it's not going to be on this one. But like, I get what you're saying. Where you said like the show was so good. Like, how could I touch this? So I love that you enjoyed it. Rich Kings, did you looking back on this pay-per-view? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah,
it seemed like a mafia king. You're such a mafia king, sir.
No, the pay-per-view was pretty good, and I'm gonna agree with Mark here. I think watching the Survivor Series, I think this might be a top 3, top 5 for me personally. Okay. Because I'll just say the whole storytelling of the last match of what it took to get over there, watching it back then, and the anticipation, and then actually delivering. And think about some of the Survivor Series matches, or just pay-per-views in general, just like, I just did not meet my expectations, right? So I do think that, especially this is one Survivor Series, you think about Survivor Series, that gets most wrestling fans thinking about a what if. The other Survivor Series out there don't get that much what if, or what would you have changed differently. So I think when you think about how the intrigue is for the Survivor Series, I would say it's a top 3, top 5 Survivor Series of all time. Was it favorable results on most of the matches? Yeah. I appreciated it. I think Paul Heyman had a special effect to that one. So I think it just the things that he was saying, like Mark Wynn said, like the match of the thing of like not tapping out or my career is on the line or who shot this camera angle, you're gonna be fired tomorrow. It's like it's just like great. We're not gonna get that on another pay-per-view, right? Because he's just pure gold. So I think we added all those different elements for me to top 3, top 5. He made it more enjoyable.
It's but Paul Heyman is so great. Like he's so great. Like there's a lot of things. There's a picture I don't have here, and I wish I had it so people could see it. But there's one where when Taz debut, not returned. That's a debut, but when he shows up and he has this like shocked face. Paul Heyman is so good, and that's why he's still going at it today. Because he is like, I know a lot of people say Bobby Heenan is like the GOAT of managers and all that stuff. And look, shout out to you. I mean, I didn't grow up watching that stuff, but for me, it's Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is just so good at what he does, from his words to his facials to his just acting. I mean, he's just, I don't like throwing that around a lot because one time we did a show and one Rich King says, how many goats are in this farm? But I think he's a goat. I do think, in fact, that I do think he's a goat. Nonetheless, it's a fair question. It's a fair question, nonetheless. I do want to, because that does get tossed around a lot, so that's fair. I don't call myself a goat because I'm not an animal, but like I understand you, sir. But with that all said, that was the review show. I mean, I almost feel like we went longer than the pay-per-view, but nonetheless, I enjoy doing this review with you guys. Gene Baptiste stepped away and we finished the episode, but hopefully he'll be on for the next one. And I'm one of your hosts, the Great Grandstand Pooba. I'm joined with Mark Wins and Rich Kings, but Mark Wins, I do always like to say, so people know, and the link will be in the description. It's getting a little cold outside. And no, I'm not talking about it's cold, so do that, but it's cold. So you're doing something about video game content, and I just look forward to hearing about this stuff because you're going to be doing stuff on a Mystic Monday, Mystic Cave Monday.
Yeah.
Maybe a Toxic Cave Tuesday? We're trying to get that over.
I wouldn't mind doing a Toxic Cave Tuesday, but it would only be Toxic Cave.
Wing Fortress Wednesday!
I'm with Wing Fortress Wednesday.
I'm so upset at that. There's an inside joke only we've got. But go ahead, Mark Wentz. I'm sorry.
But yeah, you can find me on Legend Number M on YouTube. As I do have some content up, got a couple shorts up, got the first world of Donkey Kong Country, sped ran in different short form content. I'm working on long form content, but I think my computer is a little too outdated for what I want to do. Like I wanted to review, what the hell is that game? Sonic Rumble. But my computer was like, no, we're not. You pick a struggle. That's what my computer did. So I got to upgrade my computer to do a little bit more modern things, but we'll get to that. But right now I'm doing retro short form content. So if you like retro games, you like short form content, subscribe to my channel. We out there.
I love that so much. Rich Kings, I know where people can find you, but handsome man, where can people find you when they want to hear knowledge and you try to compete with me on wrestling knowledge?
Right here at the Big Pop Theory podcast.
You are getting, sir, I just want to throw out here, you are getting better and better at that. And I think it's fantastic. And I think I want to give you your flowers, sir, on how great you are about that stuff. And I'm just sorry that, as great as Shawn Michaels was, he feared Juventud Guerrero. HBK fears the juice. But I will end it with just. And you can follow the Big Pop Theory podcast. We have an Instagram, a Twitter, we have a YouTube. I mean, you're watching us on YouTube. And hit us on the Gmail. Let us know, what is the content or something you would like us to review. We're doing WWE content, but we're open to doing many other things. And I was telling the boys that in December, I would like to do WCW content, and we're going to talk about some stuff. So just give us some ideas, and things will move on in the future. It doesn't have to be pay-per-views. It could be a WCW Nitro. It could be a WWF Raw, a SmackDown, maybe an ECW. I mean, we've never done an ECW thing, so maybe we can make that a thing here, boys. But we'll talk about it all. But that is the review. We thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it, and continue to follow the Big Pop Theory podcast. for many contents. We have an audio podcast where we review the stuff that's going on weekly, and we have the stuff where we do on YouTube where we do live predictions and after show reviews. And we do this is taped, if you guys didn't, in case you guys didn't know. We tape for the retrospect stuff. So with that all said, thank you guys for watching, and we hope to see you for the next